Live from Art Crate Field in Spanaway, Washington, this is Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, and we are underway with a kickoff. Federal Way kicking it to Bethel, and the kick taken there by number 25, Damian Jack. Jack takes it up to about the 15-yard line before he's taken down, and that is where Bethel will begin. We apologize, a bit of a late start, but welcome to the action tonight with Tom Smith. I'm Jason Schwartz, and Tom, we have a matchup here of a couple of teams in the SPSL-South 4A, a couple of teams, and Federal Way, certainly the class of this league and conference, and Bethel is going to have their hands full tonight.
Well, there's two teams at top of the North and the South, undefeated. Federal Way comes in ranked number 3, and they'll start on defense here against Bethel.
Riopel, the quarterback, he's going to give the ball off, and that's a handoff. It's only going to get about 3 yards for Bethel there.
Chase Clover, the running back, and you want to get that first taste of action, especially against a top-ranked team. Execute, execute, execute. They know about John Thompson. Can the other key players for the Braves come up with a big game tonight, Jason?
Again, just a single back formation, but 3 wide receivers spread to the right. They're going to throw a screen pass, and that's going to go out. That's number 10, Tyler Hordick, and Hordick takes the ball, taken out of bounds. Another short game there, but they get the ball past the 20-yard line.
Tyler Hordick, the brother of Justin, well-known quarterback.
Justin, last year, the quarterback who led this team to a record in points scored for their league. But this year, the offense and their head coach, Gavin Kralik, they know they need a different kind of offense to have success against Federal Way. They need to protect the football.
3rd and 2 to go. Key down here in the first series for the Braves.
3rd and 2, coming from the near hash mark. And they hand it off again up the middle, and that's Thompson. Thompson's going to take the ball up for a first down to the 30-yard line, and Bethel moving the ball, doing exactly what they want to do.
6-yard gain, so they're executing well, coming off from the starting gates. Gavin Kralik, the head coach here, likes the size of the line, so they're going to get behind that. And John Thompson, expect him to see a lot of action tonight.
John Thompson, the junior, he's right back there in the backfield. Another single back formation, 4 wide receivers set, and they're going to give it right back to Thompson. Good move, and he fumbles the football. It's loose near the 35, and who's got it? Federal Way says it's them, and they certainly do. A turnover on the very first drive for Bethel, and head coach Gavin Kralik can't be happy about that. This is a game in which Bethel must limit their mistakes against Federal Way. Federal Way comes in 3-0. Bethel 2-1, 1-1 in conference. And now this explosive Federal Way offense will get things going here as the quarterback comes out onto the field. And right now lining up at quarterback is Ryan Smolko. But this is the spread pistol. And this team, Federal Way, they do a lot of running of the football, not a lot of passing today.
Evan Elliott getting things going here for the Eagles.
And they're going to give it off. That's number 7, Chico McClatcher, taking the ball off to the left, and he's taken down near the 31-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 7 to go.
McClatcher comes in, averaging a good number, along with Zeke McNeil, the main carriers, but they have no less than 8 ball carriers rushing from the line of scrimmage this year.
Again, out of the spread pistol, it'll be Smolko to take the snap. Excuse me, not Smolko. Evan Elliott takes the snap. He throws his screen off to the right. Again, it's McClatcher, and he's taken down in the backfield. A nice play by Eli Tutu.
Eli Tutu snuffed that out. They had 3 linemen coming in, and that's what the plan is, to let them in, but you can't get them outside. And that's one of the things the coach said is they know they've got big game players for Federal Way, so they've got to contain the talent on the outside edges.
Well, for Federal Way, it's all about getting their athletes in space. They want to make the Bethel defense miss, and right there, Tutu did not miss. So it's a 3rd and 11 from the 35. And again, we see Elliott ready to take the snap. Looks back at nobody. I think McClatcher's on his left side. He thought he was on his right. He's going to now move up, throws the ball deep down the sideline, and it is caught inside the 10. And it looks like Marcel Morris makes the catch, the senior wideout. And, wow, a real big break, I think, for Elliott there. He just kind of threw the ball up, and Morris stopped, came back to get it, and I think the defensive back overran the ball.
Good job by Evan Elliott. You want to call it at the highest level. That is a zonal route, trying to throw it in that open space. Morris getting back on the ball. The defensive back, looking only at him, didn't really have a sight of the ball, trying to knock it out. And now the officials confer, as there's a flag down by the 5-yard line. Was there an interference or defensive holding that you could see?
Well, not that I saw, and actually it was tough to see that flag. It's kind of sitting right there on that sideline, the referee standing over it. A little tough to see. I thought at first they were conferring to see if he caught the ball in bounds or not, but it looks like they're going to take this play away, and they're bringing it back now.
It's going to be one of your alternate routes where we saw Morris totally going down the line, so it wouldn't be him. It looked like maybe somebody else, a defensive hold or push. So mark off 10 against the Eagles here.
So they're going to spot the ball all the way back now at the 45-yard line. Oh, even more than that. They're going back to the 50.
Oh, my gosh. Was there
So
unsportsmanlike conduct maybe?
So now this is really going to push them back. It is going to be a 4th and 20 or a 3rd and 26 here. And so if you're Bethel, at least you can breathe a little easier on the defensive side as Federal Way has 26 yards to go. But again, this offense is so explosive. They can get 26 yards. And one of the interesting things about this offense, you look, usually the quarterback has got the sleeve that gives you the plays. Look at all the players on this team checking out their wrist, checking out the play as they get ready to go.
Welcome to the modern era and the spread offense, my friend.
The spread pistol, as John Marr, the head coach, likes to call it. So here we go. Elliott gets the ball back, and they're going to look to throw. Elliott rolls a little bit to his left, now throws it over the middle, and he's got his man. It's number 80, Aaron Persinger, the wideout, up to the 25, and would you believe it? They get the first down, or at least looks like they came very close, maybe a yard short. And yep, they're a yard short. It was a 3rd and 26, and they got 25 yards on the play.
Well, a good job by Persinger coming back to the ball. Pretty good coverage by number 18 the other way. Jeremiah Vasquez for the Braves is right there.
No surprise here. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1. So Elliott back to get the snap. He's got McClatcher right behind him. Bethel's defense jumps, and that might give Federal Way the first down. Well, that has got to be a big confidence booster for Federal Way, who already comes in with a ton of confidence. For Bethel here, playing at home in front of the Bethel Braves faithful, that's a tough way to start things off on defense, and Federal Way continues to move the ball. It's now at the 24-yard line of 1st and 10. So from 3rd and 26 now to 1st and 10.
Well, count that as a 3rd down conversion. That was a great play to put him in position. And, of course, the penalty, the easy yield by the Braves defense.
So here's Elliott, number 3, Delando Tucker in motion, and it's going to be McClatcher taking the ball up the middle to the 15 before he's taken down. And that now will bring up 2nd down and probably 6 to go. Yep, a gain of 4 on the play for Chico McClatcher.
I'll get your choice of medicines averaging over 15 yards a carry. McClatcher and McNeil at 17, so they've got a lot of power. Tucker now on the inside slot of the right-hand side.
So here's Elliott again. 2 backs with him. Elliott will give it off, and that's Zeke McNeil. McNeil taking it, switches directions as he gives it back to Elliott, who takes it on the left side and into the end zone for a touchdown. A little trickery from Federal Way there, and that's what Federal Way does. They move the ball well, and a great drive to start things off as they take a 6-0 lead.
Credit the coaches. They see Bethel lining up, making sure they know where those weapons are. Spread offense, pistol spread, whatever you want to call it. They're all wide, and Elliott, all that little bit of feint, and he had a wide open angle there on the end zone. 15-yard touchdown run by the quarterback for the Eagles.
So Kobe Craig now will try the extra point. And Federal Way, the early lead with 7:42 remaining here in the first quarter. And Craig ready to kick the ball with Delando Tucker holding for him. Federal Way's explosive offense. And now we have a flag on the play here, and there's going to be a false start called on Federal Way. It didn't even look like they had gotten lined up just yet, but the false start's called, and that's going to move them back on the extra point. Well, if you're Bethel and you're the defensive coordinator, Vince Tarsi, would you have ever thought on the first drive of the game Federal Way would have beaten you with 2 big plays in the air? I know one of them was taken away on that flag down on the right sideline, but 2 big plays in the air, and then they end up putting it in on the ground.
It's got to be a little frustrating. Good execution by the Braves so far, but Federal Way just finding that opening based on the alignment they were working against. Good job by the Eagles, and again by the coaches recognizing what Bethel has been doing.
So Kobe Craig ready to kick here as they move the ball back 5 yards. So they're going to be starting from the 8-yard line. We'll make that the 7-yard line, as the extra point now is up, and it is no good. Wide left on a, or wide right on a line drive extra point. So Bethel comes away with a little bit of a break and a little bit of momentum as Federal Way can't come through on the extra point.
Well, the kick fails, but who was it running in there pressuring Craig and as he tried to get that kick up? And it was John Thompson, the leading rusher, who didn't even start for the Braves on offense. He starts on defense, and he does something in every play worth paying attention to.
Well, he did something in one of his first offensive plays worth paying attention to. He coughed up the football, and Federal Way took it back, and that's why they've got the lead now, 6 points off of a turnover. And for Bethel, I mean, you can bet that their coaches took them in and they said, look, we cannot turn the ball over. Their drive had started well. They want to be a control team against this Federal Way offense, and they gave it right up. So they'll have another shot here, and it's Thompson ready to return this kick. Back with him is Damian Jack.
You make a mistake like John Thompson did, even though he's a junior, he's got the maturity and the leadership to find a way to make up for it. He's going to work a little harder now for the Braves in every role that he has out there.
Thompson, a junior, defensive back, and a wide receiver, but the best athlete on this Bethel team, a guy who really can do great things with the ball. And we'll see if he gets it or if Jack gets it here on this kickoff as Craig gets ready to send it away. 6-0 Federal Way, first quarter. Great to have you with us. Jason Schwartz with Tom Smeeth here from Art Crate Field in Spanaway. Kick is up, and it's a good one. It'll be taken by Thompson back at the goal line. He's going to take it out, moves up past the 20, slips a tackle, and now he's going to head out of bounds at the 30-yard line on the near side. A nice return, and it really got something there out of what looked like nothing. He hesitated there at the goal line and then was able to make the play, and you see how he can make defenders miss.
A solid run. You're a little bit concerned when he carries that loaf of bread over there on that right. He's got it tight in there. Breaks to the outside, keeps the ball out where it's safe, and then finally forced out of bounds after a 30-yard return.
So they start from the 31 with a 1st and 10. Riopel brings the offense back out. And again, don't be surprised to see them continuing to run the ball here. In the backfield, they have J.T. Nigel, the junior, in an I formation. 2 wide receivers off to the left on the far side. And Riopel's going to give the ball off to Nigel. He has some room up to about the 34 before he's stopped. A gain of 3 on the play, and it will be 2nd down and 7 or 8 to go.
So now it's going to be important how the Bethel offense comes back out of the field. They started crisp. They had the fumble, but they were marching the ball. Can they pick up with that momentum and answer back after Federal Way took advantage of that first turnover of the game?
So they bring Thompson back out onto the field, and with Thompson, they're going to bring a couple more receivers as well back into a 4 wide receiver set. Looking over at the sideline to get the play. Riopel talks to his offensive line. Now he's under center. Thompson right behind him. 2nd and 8. And Riopel back to pass. Dumps it off for Thompson. A dangerous play. The pressure was in. Albert Havili really getting to Riopel there, knocking him to the ground. And Riopel, dangerous screen pass, just kind of threw it up. You could tell he was looking for Thompson, but Thompson wasn't looking back at him.
Well, you've heard about the blind side, no doubt, if you follow football or catch that movie. That was a blindside rush. Coming in untouched, Albert Havili had his way and could have maybe hit the quarterback a little bit harder. He even helped him up. And you can see that play had no chance of even getting underway.
So it's now 3rd and 8. Riopel out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff, gives it off. A pass complete to Kelly Fugate. And he's going to take the ball up to the 38, but short of a 1st down. It's going to be 4th and 3 to go.
I like that play because he's got it on the angle. It's a pretty heavy infield, if you will, but between the hash marks. But he got a couple blocks, turned it upfield, and they give themselves a chance to make a decision here.
And it looks like they're going to go for it. Riopel out on the field with the offense on a 4th and 3. Well, one thing that Coach Kralik talked about before the game was how important the special teams play was with the punting and the kickoffs, and they're not even going to give themselves a shot here.
Number 15, John Thompson in the backfield with Riopel.
Out of the shotgun on a 4th and 3, and they're going to snap it straight to Thompson, who puts up the punt, and that's going to land at about the 28-yard line, and it will be downed at the 25 by Bethel. So a little bit of trickery there as Thompson sends the ball away, and he can do it all with his legs both on the ground running and with his legs kicking, apparently.
You have a feeling that Thompson could get the yardage if need be, but a smart move to force Federal Way up at the line of scrimmage and then let Thompson. 34-yard punts, pretty good high school result. And no return. Very, very important here.
Not bad, and he puts it at the 26. So now Federal Way has to go 74 yards to get their next score. Certainly capable of doing so. And here comes the spread pistol again with Elliott in the backfield. 2 backs with him and 3 wide receivers spread out. Elliott back to pass, a flag on the play. He goes deep down the sideline, and that's Mike Tate, and it's incomplete. And we'll check on the penalty again in the backfield. And it looks like it's going to be on Federal Way.
Blake Schwartz keeping an eye on things there along with Eli Tutu. But number 4 giving himself a chance to make the catch. Mike Tate very well may have come down with that. But look at the play over again as Bethel will no doubt push him back 10 yards.
Looked like it was holding on the play, and that flag came out from the get-go there.
Yep.
And you mentioned Blake Schwartz, and we just talked about the special teams being big for Bethel tonight. Well, Blake Schwartz, a defensive back with experience, number 12 at junior, they are really depending on him to shut down Tate tonight so they can focus some of the other defenders on some of the other Federal Way athletes out on the field.
Mike Tate averaging 6.5 yards. You think of him as a possession receiver, but Delando Tucker, the guy with a little bit of an edge. They, again, have 6 different weapons they've thrown to here so far in 3 games of the season.
Eagles in the white, Bethel in the red. There's a fake handoff and a pass right side, a screen pass, and it's incomplete. Through the hands of Marcel Morris. Screen pass a little bit high, and if Morris had made the catch, he would have taken a good lick. He took one anyway, but without the ball. So now 2nd and 15, or yeah, 2nd and 15 here. So whatever that flag was, it was a 5-yard penalty. 2nd and 15 from the 22-yard line.
I think that was Ryan Saleas reading the tackle the whole way. He might have had a chance to nab the interception.
Elliott sends Tucker in motion, takes the snap. He's going to give it off, and that's Zeke McNeil bringing it up the left side all the way to the 30, a gain of 8 before he's smacked down to the ground by a contingent of Bethel defenders. And that will make it a 3rd down, but a 3rd and 7. Very manageable for the Eagles. Again, Federal Way coming into this game 3-0. The favorites to win the division, and Bethel coming in 2-1, 1-1 in conference. Last year, their offense, again, we mentioned all those points that they racked up and all the yardage, but they really are changing things up. They were more of a finesse offense, and now they're trying to get back into being a control team.
So what have you seen of Federal Way so far? Would you call them finesse?
Absolutely not. They are fast. They spread the field. And here we go. Elliott gives it off. That's going to be a handoff to McNeil. McNeil breaks off of the tackle. He's got room to the outside, up to the 37-yard line. And that might be just short of a 1st down. Let's see. They were 3rd and 8. And they bring the ball up to the 37. And I think they're going to call for measurement here. Or no, they're just going to
move the chains.
It on up, moving the chains of 1st down.
Give them 7.5 yards. And that is a good example of what the coach was trying to avoid, containment. And so as everybody sucked in, anticipating the run going between the tackles, and he just bent outside and took the edge and got the yardage.
Well, one of Bethel's biggest strengths, too, their O-line and D-line. And that's why they want to keep him contained. They feel they can win that battle at the line of scrimmage, but the moment they get outside, these quick runners, they're off.
A lot of sets here in this pistol spread.
Look at that, 3 in the backfield. They're going to send a man in motion. That's McClatcher. And here's a pass. Elliott's going to go deep down the field into double coverage, and it is going to be dropped by the defender, but a pass interference call, and that is just unlucky. It looked like Thompson was the one who laid the hit on the receiver, Tate, and Tate would have had no chance to make that catch. Thompson kind of knocks him to the ground, and we're going to have a penalty and a 1st down on for Federal Way.
Evan Elliott picks himself up off the ground as he unleashed that ball. He did not see what happened to it as number 30, Nick Nettles, came in and laid a lick on him. Back judge right there, no flag. It was all about the defensive holding or pass interference right at the point of attempting the catch.
And again, that's a really tough penalty for Bethel because, again, the throw going into double coverage, and the defensive backs and the receiver had to stop waiting for it to come down, and no way Tate would have made that catch. So where do they spot the ball here? They're going to put it down at the 47-yard line, and Federal Way moves into Bethel territory now as they look for their second score. First quarter, 4 minutes, 46 seconds left, and Federal Way with a 6-0 lead.
Another penalty that definitely benefits the Federal Way here.
So Elliott with 2 men back with him. He's going to send Tucker in motion, and he's going to take the snap. He gives it off. There's McNeil to the left side. He's got lots of room past the 30, up the sideline, and he's going to take it in for the touchdown. And McNeil with a great run on the left side, 47-yard touchdown sprint. And Federal Way now up 12-0, looking to make it 13 with the extra point.
47 yards in the last 20 of them. You want to credit the receiver, number 4, Mike Tate, for making the seal block to keep that alley open for McNeil. And, of course, you've got to say the first 27 yards, credit the line. They totally sealed off that left side, and it was easy running, lots of open space for the touchdown runner, Zeke McNeil.
One of the great parts about preparing for a football game is usually the coaches know exactly what they need to do to win. The question is, can they execute? And Coach Graylick knows he needed to contain the perimeter, and they have not been able to do so against Federal Way so far. This time, the extra point's going to be good. Craig knocks it through. Another line drive kick, and that makes the score 13-0 Federal Way, and we haven't even played 2/3 of a quarter yet. Bethel on offense struggling, on defense struggling.
Well, 4 minutes and 35 left. They scored just about 3 minutes after the opening score and the turnover, but this time it was a long drive, and Federal Way showed how many weapons they had just on that one drive, going left and right on the ground. And, of course, you talked about, okay, they have finesse, I would say that, but the power game is in the blocking, and they have fantastic blocking, and they got super athletes to take advantage of those huge holes on the outside.
And one of the dimensions Federal Way is showing Bethel here, which I think has really put the Bethel defense back on their heels, is the ability to throw the ball deep, something that I don't know if Bethel was expecting. And
it's not pretty deep. It's just deep enough. He puts the ball up, and the receivers are adapting back. And one of the things the defense has to look at is their outside-in technique. You've got to contain people, so if you're a defensive back, if you're a defensive end, even if you're a deep safety, you're going to play the outside and keep that middle open. Sure, that's where they've had success with the passing, but it's much better to keep them contained, force them to go to your teammates, and make them pay even when they do catch the ball.
Thompson and Jack back to receive. This time they switch it up a little bit. Thompson behind Jack. It was the other way around last time. The two of them in the middle of the field at about the 10-yard line. And Craig will kick the ball off for the third time in this quarter. Kick is away, and he hits it on the ground, a ground ball kick. Jack's going to take it at the 30, and he's taken down there. Maybe a gain of 3 or 4 yards on that return. So they go with a squib kick instead of letting him kick it deep. And, well, they pretty much start at the same spot they started the last time. But I think Federal Way got a little nervous when you saw what Thompson can do, bringing the ball up on a 30-yard gain last time.
Damian Jack picking it up on the bounce of the 25, taking some leadership back there, trying to make things happen for the Bethel Braves. Secured the ball, and it got positive 7 yards. The advantage of that bouncing kick is it bought time for the coverage team to get down there.
So Riopel under center with Thompson behind him, and here's a screen pass. Will go to the outside. That's number 10, Hordike, and Hordike's going to be taken down for a loss on the play, it would appear. Or maybe a gain of 1 yard up to the 33.
You can see that Riopel and the Braves' passing game is going to be most successful off the successful running game. And so far, the Braves have not really established that. Well, they've got the fundamentals to do that. We saw that in the first 2 drives.
We haven't seen Riopel throw the ball down the field yet.
Nope. It's all swing passes, and it's very shaky. Very shaky.
Again, 3 wide receivers to his left with Thompson behind him on a 2nd and 10. And Riopel will give it off to Thompson, and he is met by the defenders as he gets it up for a gain of 3. And that's going to get him to a 3rd and 7.
You know what? You see the leadership of Thompson there. He got through the line, but right away was hit by 2 linebackers, carried them an extra yard or 2, and then a defensive back gets in there to seal him up. That's some pretty heavy running. You need some help. Get behind those big guys and see if you can get to that next level.
So now on a 3rd and 7, what do? They need 7 yards, maybe through the air, as Riopel's going to back up into the shotgun with 4 wide. And he takes the snap, backs up, and he's going to give it to Thompson on the right side. Thompson getting up to the 41. Let's see where he gets the spot. That was a good gain on the play.
Coming up, Brandon Warren puts himself in position. How about that hit delivered by Thompson? Did not wait for it. He took it to the defensive back. And Warren gets back to the huddle. And I think he's got some stars in the side there.
They're looking at the spot, and
they're going to measure it.
They're going to measure here. Well, it's very close. And they're not going to have to move these chains very far.
You like
right there next to the sideline.
You like to see the way he runs that? Just tuck your head and drive it. He's fighting for the yards. And that's going to inspire your linemen to kind of go that extra mile. They love to see a running back do the extra hard work. And the chain crew wants to move it. But they're going to set up and come out and move about a foot off the line, and it's about a foot to go.
It's going to be very close, and it's 4th down. So what's the call here? We saw last time Bethel kept their offense out for the 4th down play, but Thompson ended up punting it away. So what do they go with here? Offense staying out on the field on the 4th and very short.
Now this is what's impressive. You've got a wasted pass, and yet your running game puts you in a position to get a first down against a Federal Way defense. It tells you a lot about the running game that Bethel has.
That's part of the reason why I was a little surprised to see them go to the air, even on the screen pass on that first down play.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of think to yourself, Thompson so far, you haven't seen him break a big one, but he's getting those 3-4 yards each time he's carried the ball.
Yeah, and
it's a nice head start on a first down to get a 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5.
And the first series, he had a good 6-7 yard run before they gave him the ball. He had the first down, but he didn't secure the ball. And now they got to work from behind, down 2 scores.
So 3:45 to play. Clock stopped because of the measurement.
And they're going to go for it.
Yes, they are. Or at least we think. 3 men go in motion to the left side. 3 in the backfield for Riopel. He takes the snap. He'll pitch it off to Thompson. And Thompson moving up. Looks like he just did get the yardage. Better way able to push him back. But, man, very close. Maybe a gain of 1. Maybe 2, if that, on the play.
It's all about angles. It's almost student body left. They did choose to go off the tackle there. And from my angle, said he got it easy, but from your angle, he only got it by a yard.
So they're checking in to see the next play, and that's exactly the way this offense wants to work. They want the clock to run. They don't want this Federal Way offense back on the field.
That's right.
They got to give their defense some time to take a breath. Here's the next play, a fake handoff, play action. He rolls to his left, and he gives it off. A complete pass to Hordijk, and Hordijk is going to be wrapped up and taken down.
Now, what's good about that is they got Hordijk in one-on-one coverage. The way they did that, Jason, is they sent Bryce Bowers down on a fly, and it was what they call a run-out, pushing back the defensive backs. And right before the snap on the right quarterback, he began to retreat, and that just opened things up for Bethel. That was a good call against the defensive alignment that the Eagles showed them.
So they move the ball up to the 46, still 2nd and fairly long here. Again, a couple of players in motion. And here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff taken by Thompson. And Thompson again into the scrum, barely moving forward. They did gain a couple of yards on the play. And now it's going to be 3rd down, and it's going to be 8 to go.
Well, what's interesting is it wasn't a very well-run play. It wasn't a successful one, but they still got 3 yards off Thompson's effort.
Actually, it's going to be a 3rd and 4 now, and they're at the 49-yard line. Clock still running.
That's a long forward, too, man. And they're right about midpoint in the stakes. And right at midfield, Federal Way beginning to take it seriously.
2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And here's the snap, another handoff, and taken down in the backfield. There's a flag on the play, but that was J.T. Tiuli who got back there to take down Thompson. Or actually, it wasn't Thompson. It was Jack in the backfield who took the run.
Cowered him for the loss. Got through the line.
But let's check on the penalty here.
Is that going to be a collar issue or something in the line?
Absolutely. It's on the defense, and that's going to give Bethel the first down. It looked like with the way Tiuli took him down, I mean, Tiuli didn't go down. He kind of just wrapped him up and threw him to the ground, and he might have grabbed the collar, maybe even the face mask. Well, it's a penalty of 5.
Unofficially already 70 yards of penalties between these two teams. We're in our 4th game of the season. You want to see execution and discipline coming together. regardless of your record.
So now they're going to have 3rd and 2. So I guess the penalty, a 5-yard penalty, and they'd given him a loss on the play, so they get 5 yards. 3rd and 2, almost a false start. They didn't get the call. Riopel throws the ball up, and it's intercepted by J.J. McNeil. He's still on his feet, taking the ball into Bethel territory and coming down at the 40-yard line. An interception, and that's the 2nd turnover of the quarter. And Riopel was looking for Hordijk, and Hordijk wasn't looking back at him. Hordijk running up the field down the sideline, and that was an easy interception.
Everything wrong about that play. You noted it. The fullback in motion, and the flag's going to be waved off anytime the play continues, and you're the defensive team and you can get the turnover. You're going to keep that ball, although they're going to confer now. What's the decision? Yeah, penalty decline. You got the ball.
Yeah, of course.
So 2nd turnover for Bethel Braves. They're really digging themselves a hole here.
That interception really looked like it almost fell into the lap of McNeil. I mean, McNeil was right there for it, barely had to move, and Hordijk was nowhere in the vicinity.
Look for Federal Way to pay off the rewards. Number 4, Mike Tate. He's out here in the left end with the trips configuration. He provided the seal block so McNeil could run in for that 2nd score.
Oh, here we go. He's going to run it out of a Wildcat formation, and he's got good room. That's Keenan Curran up past the 30-yard line. And that's another look Federal Way is going to give Bethel, and that's another reason Bethel is going to have a headache by the time the night's over when you're going up against this Federal Way offense. That's a nice run there by Curran.
Yeah, 18 yards. That's a huge run for Federal Way, and that's also a huge dagger in the hearts of the Braves defense.
Keenan Curran's going to stay back out there at quarterback. Now he's listed as a QB and a defensive back, but this is the first time we've seen him take snaps here. And you can tell, I mean, look at his body, long legs, good speed, and he adds that dimension that we didn't see from Elliott. Got someone back there with him. He's going to fake the snap. He's going to throw down the sideline, and that ball is caught. A touchdown, Marcel Morris. And Federal Way piling it on here. It's 19-0, and we're still in the 1st quarter. And a good ball down the field to Morris. And the coverage was not bad, but Morris was just able to go up and get there. It looked like the defensive back, looked like it might have been Jack on the play, didn't see the ball in the air.
Well, we're under a minute to play. That's a very demolishing turnover and quick strike drive by the Eagles. It's going to be a lot of leadership needed from the Bethel Braves to respond to that. It's like running practice against the JVs. Elliott getting it down the corner. Morris, no problem opening up the space and catching it.
So Craig back out onto the field to attempt yet another extra point. Craig's had a nice 1st quarter of action here tonight. Missed 1 extra point, made 1. It's 1 for 2. And the snap, the placement, and the kick is up, and that's his best extra point yet, and he puts it through. And it's 20-0 Federal Way. And you take a look at these touchdowns here. 15-yard run for Elliott, a 47-yard run for McNeil, and then Curran, a touchdown pass to Morris down the field. And you notice anything about those plays? All 3 touchdowns, completely different people touching the ball. You've got an Elliott run, a McNeil run, and then a Curran pass to Morris. And how about that first drive for Curran as a quarterback tonight?
Only thing I'd say is that fly pattern to Morris on the right has been open every time they've gone to it. That one of them was pulled back, so 28-yard strike to Morris. Tack on with the 15-yard run by Elliott, and then the scamper down the left side
for 47 yards.
47 yards.
They haven't even had the ball in the red zone yet. Or I guess they did that very first touchdown. They put it in from the 15, but they haven't had a 1st and goal situation tonight. They've been scoring from far away.
Now, Bethel doesn't come in here expecting to win, but they want to make sure they give Federal Way as much trouble as they can. It's a tough schedule for them as they face down Curtis, 35-9 loss, and they want to keep this respectable, help build their program.
Craig will send it away, and again, he's going to bounce this kick. There's Jack, and it gets over him, over to the 2-yard line. Someone's got to pick it up. It's going to be Jack to pick it up, and he's going to salvage some yardage. Gets up past the 10, but that's not a good place to start for this Bethel offense. And now protect the football. They must if they want to stay in this game.
That scrub kick is a murder back there. It's a mess. And they took that wild bounce. You can't plan for that.
Well, that's what you hope. It's not like taking ground balls on a baseball field. This is not a round ball. That can bounce every which way.
And you should know, coming off a pretty good season of baseball down there in the south part of our west coast. Welcome back to the Northwest, Jason Schwartz.
150 games in 164 days, ready for some football. Bethel back out there from the 11-yard line. Riopel's going to roll out, and he's going to throw the ball off, and it's dropped by Hordijk. Hordijk tries to pick it up and continue on with it, but that was easy to see, an incomplete pass. And
catchable ball. You expect Hordijk to collect it. That one, finally a passing play that looked good. It just needed the catch to put the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence. Nice clear out again, and Riopel needs a catch like that to help build his confidence. That's where you need your teammates to pick you up.
Riopel, a senior quarterback, listed at 6 feet, 1 inch tall, 195 pounds. He's going to give the ball off. There's Thompson trying to get to the outside, and Thompson's going to be taken down for a loss on the play, and we have a late flag coming in.
I think that might be Albert Havili advertising his hit just a little bit too much. They look down on that in high school sports. So that'll help the Braves out here deep in their own end.
Personal foul on Federal Way, and that's going to give Bethel a first down. And boy, for Federal Way, 20-0 lead. We're still here in the first quarter, 35 seconds left. That's just a bad penalty because you have a chance to get the ball right back, and you have a Bethel offense that is struggling to move the football, and you're going to take them out of the shadows of their own end zone and move them up the field with some breathing room now.
Well, it gives them a first down, like you said. It gives them valuable yardage, and they get their heels away from that goal line. Now Bethel, all they need is a couple of plays here to get their momentum going, get to midfield, see if they can get something going here.
So here's Thompson who's going to take the snap as the quarterback Riopel lines up to the left. Thompson gets it, a high snap, gives it off to Jack. They send it back to Riopel. He's going to throw the ball down the field, and he had Hordijk all alone, and he overthrew him.
Now that's a play in the film room. You can say perfect execution. You just need a slightly better throw. Put it up in the air so Hordijk can run underneath it. Wide open. Wide open, and that one was nothing but pay dirt.
So Bethel will have 2nd and 10 now, but boy, that play worked for him. It worked. If he had made the catch, there, of course, the ball way over his head, and Hordijk did all he could. If the catch is made, he is all alone all the way to the end zone, and that's the kind of play Bethel needed to get the momentum back here.
Take advantage of that penalty that Federal Way opened the door on.
So 2nd and 10, I formation, and they're going to hand it off. There's Thompson. He breaks it out to the left side. Can he get space? He does get up there, splitting a couple defenders up to the 35, and that's the best run we've seen from him tonight as the first quarter comes to an end. And it's going to be, I think, a 3rd and 1. There was a gain of 9 on that play. And the teams will come off the field for the end of the first quarter here. So we will step aside briefly for a quick break between quarters. All Federal Way here in the at the end of the first quarter. Federal Way 20, Bethel nothing. We'll be back in a moment on PlayOnSports.com. Welcome back. Friday night football from Spanaway. It's Bethel and Federal Way as we start the second quarter with Tom Smith. I'm Jason Schwartz. Great to have you with us tonight. All Federal Way after one quarter. They lead 20-0. And Bethel with a 3rd and 1 after a 9-yard run for Thompson, his best of the night. And we got a whistle here. We might have a timeout just before this first play of the quarter is run.
That's tough. You're getting things going. You got a 3rd and short to keep your drive alive. You come out of the break, and you should be ready to rock. Unfortunately, though, for the Braves, they got to call a timeout and dial things back up.
So a 3rd and 1, and it is a timeout called, and Bethel will have to talk things over here. And that's a tough timeout to burn at the start of a quarter. And clearly they came out wanting a play, and what they saw from the Federal Way offense, or defense, they didn't like.
Think back to Federal Way when they hurt themselves, 3rd and 26, got themselves in position to get the first down and go on to march for a drive. Well, now Federal Way has opened the door for Bethel. They had a touchdown play drawn up. The throw didn't land in the lap of their receiver, but they have put themselves in position with that Thompson run to keep this drive alive. And in a sense, that's their way to respond to the adversity, much like Federal Way. If they can do it here, they're playing in a level playing field in their minds, and all they want to do is try and hang with this 3rd-ranked Federal Way Eagles team, which has a plethora of weapons.
They've done a nice job to get 3rd and short, 4th and short. We'll see if they convert here. Back out onto the field in an I formation. 2 wide, far to the right. Riopel, a hard count, almost got Federal Way to bite. And now he'll give the ball off. That's Thompson, and he's got the first down as he takes it up to the 39-yard line.
And notice how he wraps the ball up that time. He had the opening.
Well, let's not forget, Bethel got the ball to start the game, and Thompson, a big fumble, really set the tone for the rest of the quarter. Bethel trying to switch things up. I mean, if Bethel runs off a bunch of time here, ends up getting into the end zone, let's say they go into halftime 20-7, that's not a bad thing for Bethel. They just want to keep this as close as possible.
You want to get that goose egg off, but you got to do the first play in front of you, and this first down is huge. Get off on the right foot.
They've struggled on first downs. Riopel's going to give it off Thompson and has no room. You saw the penetration right off of the bat from the Federal Way defensive line.
Federal Way held off right before the snap to send up a corner. And one of their linebackers to try to rush that gap and double blitz. And even though they went away from it, Bethel had a chance there, but couldn't convert.
That's been Bethel's biggest problem is first down. Whether they pass the ball, whether they run the ball. I mean, last time they had a first down, that was when they tried that deep pass. The first down before that, they had a screen pass drop. They have had a tough time getting yards early in their possessions. Riopel back under center with a running back behind him. That's JT Nigel. They're going to flip it to Nigel. Nigel gives it back to Thompson. Thompson trying to escape a defender in the backfield. He's going to get hit at the 30, and that is a loss of 9 yards. And the Federal Way sideline is pumped after that one. And we're seeing more trickery from Bethel, and right now it's not working for them.
They're trying to offset the well-prepared defense of Federal Way, but it's difficult to make a play with you've got to weave around 3 defenders deep in your own backfield. And believe it or not, losing only 9, pretty good job by Thompson on that one.
Win or lose, Thompson's going to take the day off tomorrow. He's not going to be able to walk. He's been involved on almost every Bethel offensive play so far, and he's getting some good hits. He's giving them too.
That's right. And he's back there ready to go again here in this long.
3rd and 20 out of the shotgun. Riopel's going to throw from the pocket. Puts it up there to Hordyke, and it's going to be over Hordike's head, although where it landed didn't seem like it was all too far from Hordyke.
No,
That was strange.
I think Tyler Hordyke might have lost that ball or something because it did seem catchable. No adjustment by him, so you'd have to think that he just lost the ball in the air.
Well, I'm looking at Hordyke there, and by his body language and by the way he slowed up, I'm looking for the ball a good 10 yards past him, but it landed maybe just within feet right to his left. So now 4th and 20, and for the first time tonight for either team, we're going to see a punt.
Credit Gavin Kralik and his crew. They're trying to mix up the plays to give themselves a fighting chance against Federal Way.
Ryan Smolko sends it away, almost got blocked. It's up, and it's caught by Morris, and Morris going to be taken down immediately at the 45.
Pretty good punt of 30 yards, a shoestring catch. Talking about the baseball season still upon us here in the Northwest, and pretty good job by Morris to haul that in and get 5 yards and not lose the ball.
Well, we've seen Morris a lot. We've called his name a lot so far. Just one of the many great athletes, and that's what they call them here, athletes on this Federal Way team. And we talked with the head coach, John Marr, before the game, and he was telling us how the execution hasn't been there, but these guys are just so good in space, so good when they have the ball that they almost don't need the execution to be there to win. Here's a snap back to Elliott, is back in the game as a quarterback. He's going to give the ball off to Jones, and Jones breaking a tackle, moves all the way up into Bethel territory, and they're still going forward all the way to the 42-yard line. And that is a first down, a gain of 13 on the play.
Jones is known for his defensive ability, but he really pounded that out. Now notice Chico McClatcher in the deep belly in motion, and he's going to be an option either in this game or later. Right now, Federal Way doesn't need to have all the options they have. Everything they've tried seems to come up smelling like roses.
Well, Jones doesn't really fit the mold of these Federal Way athletes. You mentioned him pounding it forward. He's 6'3", 245. Now they give it off. That's the first time we have seen Eric Afua, and Afua is going to move it forward. He's breaking tackles all the way inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. And now everything's working for Federal Way, and we're about to see a ton of players touch the ball. We've already seen a ton of players do it. They spread this team. They don't call them the spread pistol for nothing.
So I think we can understand why so many people have run the ball. It's because they build up these leads and they're using every weapon. Afua running through Braves tacklers there. And so a 13-yard run followed up by a 13-yard run and 2 more first downs for the Eagles.
Eric Afua, when he gets the ball, 255 pounds moving forward. They put a runner in motion. That's McClatcher. They're going to pitch it to him on the left side, and he will move up, and he's still not down. He's up to the 20, past the 20, and that might be, if not, it's very close to another first down.
I think they're going to move the chains on this one as he gains about 12 yards, 11, 12 yards, and we saw him belly back. You knew they're going to go to him eventually, and that's one way they do it. They go up between the tackles. Bethel's covering that, and then they go outside to exploit that edge, and they got speed on the edge, don't they?
And the biggest problem here for Bethel is they think their defensive line is a strength for them. As Elliott gets ready to take this snap, again in motion, McClatcher. They're going to give it off to, who's that, who takes the ball. He's going up past the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown. It's Zeke McNeil. They faked to 2 players on that play, and McNeil ended up with the ball and takes it in for a touchdown, and that is the second touchdown run for McNeil, and that puts Federal Way up 26-0.
A 16-yard run and a crossbuck action coming from the slot formation, and McNeil again, tremendous amount of green space to exploit. They're weaving and dodging, but it looks like they don't even really need to do that. They're just opening up the Braves defense.
So McNeil runs it in from 47 yards in the first and from 16 yards here. 2 touchdowns for him, and now Craig on for the extra point. Well, the point I was trying to make just before that play was run there, as we see a botched hold and a botched kick. That's down, and that's going to be no good. So the second time that Federal Way unable to come through on the extra point.
Well, Craig 2 for 4.
Right,
that doesn't happen very often.
Well, what we were talking about just before, you mentioned this Bethel defensive line. We talked about the importance for Bethel to make sure that they don't let these Federal Way athletes get free in space. Well, on those last few runs, they're not getting free in space. They're challenging the line. They're getting hit sometimes in the backfield, and they're able to escape and move up for really solid chunks of yards.
Well, they're overcommitting to the inside is what I'm thinking, and if you take a look at the runs, Federal Way is extremely good at leveraging what space there is. But again, you don't see Craig's kick being denied. 2 for 4 on the point afters. I think that he only missed 1 extra point all last year.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. And great to have you with us. Friday night football up in the Northwest. matchup of two SPSL-South teams, Federal Way and Bethel. Right now, all Federal Way. And Federal Way, after yet another touchdown, they're fourth, leading 26-0. They're about to kick it away. And you mentioned, when you talk about Federal Way's offense, another thing they've done very well is protecting the football. We haven't seen them come close to coughing it up. Already 2 turnovers for Bethel. Here's a little pooch kick, lands around the 35, and Bethel has to fall on it quickly. That's Denny Felt who's able to come up with it. Now there's a little bit of a scrum. Let's see if Bethel did indeed come up with a football. And no, they're going to say, yes, they're going to say, excuse me, they're going to say Bethel did come up with it.
Remember, we saw number 25, Damian Jack, step on a bouncing punt. He didn't have to do that. But at a kickoff, it's a live ball, and Tyler Hordyke has got to make a play on that. He's backing away like he's going to let a punt bounce. He's got to know that it's his primary responsibility as the ball handler to secure that ball. Fortunately for the Braves, no turnover here, and they'll start their drive from the 35-yard line. So 65 yards to get something in the board. Really, they need to look at building confidence one play at a time.
Riopel out of the shotgun. Thompson to his right. And a false start. That's going to be called on the
Rod
left
Jones
guard.
Jr. Yeah, I don't know if he was faking the blitz or not, but he certainly has the attention of the offensive line for the Bethel Braves.
Caleb Hancock, a senior offensive lineman, is the one who jumps there. We talked about this great Bethel offensive line and the size they've got. Hancock 6'6", 265. They have Morgan Callip at 6'5", 275. Orion Turnbull 6'5", 265. They have some big kids on this offensive line.
And how about your center, Doug Fish at 6'1", 260. Not bad.
So out of the shotgun again, Riopel back to pass. He has got some time, avoids the pressure, gets it down the field, complete. That's Ryan Smolko, and he takes it into Federal Way territory down at the 47-yard line, and that's the best offensive play we've seen from Bethel in this game.
Well, certainly a very confident throw by the quarterback. Best throw of the evening so far, and it wasn't a little dink out to the right or the left. He had a clear pattern, open space, and nice collection, and 23 yards for the first down for the Braves.
So now 4 wideouts with Thompson in the backfield, under center. Riopel back, he's going to throw, kicks it out, and that's going to go over to Persinger on the outside, or make that Kelly Fugate. Kelly Fugate moves it up to about the 40, and that's a gain of about 5 on that play. So here's Bethel all of a sudden figuring it out. They're getting some nice offensive plays here, some good yards, good chunks as they move it to the 42, 2nd and 5. And this is where this offense wants to be, a 2nd and 5. That suits them.
Yeah, that's a positive play. Even though it was in the flat, it was a much stronger sense of what they're doing with their passing game right now.
Out of the I formation, Riopel will fake the handoff to Thompson, rolls to his right, rolling, now finds his man on the side. That's going to be Smolko again on the right side, another first down for Bethel.
They got 8 yards on that one, and I'm just wondering why it took him so long to get the ball out. He was looking to run, looking to what? The defensive back really had no play on the ball, and he was just giving him time to close, but it was successful, and they get another Braves first down.
So 1st and 10 at the 33. Bethel gaining confidence on the offensive side. I formation, Riopel under center. He'll take the snap. He's going to give it to Thompson this time, trying to find room on the right side, and there's no room at all. That's going to be a loss of maybe a yard on the play. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and long, 2nd and 11.
A lot of space on the far side here near us. They went short side in front of the Bethel Braves bench. And not a lot of room for John Thompson to work his magic as he salvaged on a regular basis plays that, like this one, didn't dial up so well. Trips left now for Riopel if he chooses. Empty backfield there, Jason.
First time we've seen them go empty backfield. 5 wideouts for Bethel. Riopel looking over at his sideline. Now changing the play at the line. And he's going to back up into the shotgun with 5 wide. Riopel takes the snap, backing up, and a flag on the play. And did they not get the snap off in time? That might have been the problem there. Lots of time Bethel took to try and figure out what they wanted to run.
Well, again, the Eagles showing a blitz or faking it either way, enough to get in the minds of Riopel and the Braves. And changing up the play, just not efficiently enough. The game management here has to pick up for Bethel as they build some momentum. This really hurts them.
That's a delay of game there. Now we've seen a delay of game on a nice drive. And we also saw them have to burn a timeout on the first play of the quarter with the clock not running. So Riopel checking at his sideline now. Everyone looking down there. The head coach, Gavin Kralik. And here we go. 3 wide to the left. No wide receivers on the right side. Thompson in the backfield. And Riopel's going to give it to Thompson. Thompson with some room finds a nice hole, but then he is met and is taken down at the 37-yard line. And that's Rod Jones Jr. comes away with a tackle for Federal Way.
Solid defense by Federal Way. They were looking past the delayed draw. Thompson gets what he can out of it, but he only gets back to a 3rd and 13 situation.
Some substitutions here. A few new players coming out onto the field for Bethel. Now they're on the near side, the near hash mark, and still with a 3rd and very long, 3rd and 13. This is not where they thought this drive would end up. They were moving the ball so well. Here we go. 4 wide into the shotgun. Riopel takes the snap, fakes a handoff. He's going to give it inside the pass to Fugate, and he's hit. Did he run into the official there? Might have. Goes down at the 35.
You expect to get hit when you get the ball over the middle, but I don't think you're expecting the referee. You're looking at your opponents, and Fugate there unable to elude. That kind of took away a first down opportunity for Fugate and the Braves.
It was still a short pass, and that was they needed 13 on the play. Now they gained 2. It's a 4th and 11.
So pretty good idea. 4th and long right now.
Here we go. Out of the shotgun, Riopel in the backfield with him is Colton Allen. And Riopel's going to go deep. That's for Hordijk, and that's going to fall incomplete. The pass didn't have enough on it. Hordijk had to come back, and coming in looked like Marcel Morris to knock it away. No chance really to make a play there. So now the ball back to Federal Way. Well, that was 4th down.
That was a 4th down effort with 13 yards to go. They tried to put themselves in a position with a lame duck pass. And now it's a turnover on down. So they're finding new and innovative ways to turn the ball over. And it kind of kills the momentum they built. A couple of first downs, a couple of good sharp-looking pass plays.
Definitely it kills that momentum. Now 5:13 remaining in the half, and Bethel still finds themselves with nothing to show for their efforts tonight on the scoreboard. Meanwhile, Federal Way has a chance to add to their 26-0 lead, and we're going to get a timeout here taken by Federal Way. They're going to call their first timeout in the game tonight. And we want to ask you, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. Well, Federal Way has all their timeouts here. Now they use their first with 5:13 to play. I don't think Federal Way is going to necessarily need those timeouts desperately at the end of this half.
Well, as Coach was saying, they haven't executed to perfection, even though they're 3-0 and they've had some good results out there. But if you go back and look at an earlier game where Federal Way hosted Rogers, and it was very much a game in the balance at halftime. Bethel hoping to be in that position. For a 3rd-ranked Federal Way team, they have performed to expectations. They're working on those things, and Coach Marr wants to keep the focus of his athletes going right here.
So here's Elliott back in at the quarterback position. Elliott's going to take the snap. He's going to give it off. That's McNeil. He gets room. Now back to Elliott. Elliott spins away from a tackle in the backfield. Finally is taken down. So Bethel's defense able to snuff out that play. Some more trickery from Federal Way. And that's the 3rd time we've seen them go back to Elliott after he's given the ball away.
Well, he'll lose 5 yards, and credit number 52, Troy Gonzalez, for finally wrapping him up. But pretty good moves there in the backfield.
2nd and 16 now, officially a loss of 6. And Elliott back out of the shotgun. That's really the first negative play we've seen from Federal Way tonight. In motion, Tucker, and they're going to give the ball off. That's McNeil, and he's stuffed in the backfield again. Another loss, this time looks like a loss of 5.
Well, so 2 plays go in the right direction for the Bethel Braves. The defense now trying to come up big for their offense, see if they can get the ball back and give them a chance to continue what they started in the beginning of that last drive.
Well, one nice thing for Bethel, their offense finally moving the ball a bit in that last possession, kept the defense off the field. So they're fresh as they come out here, and they have 2 good plays. Here's another snap on the 3rd down play, 3rd and 21, and there's a long throw down the field, and he gets Marcel Morris. Morris looking like Mercury Morris as he gets the ball to the 46 and into Bethel territory. That is 3 long conversions we have seen tonight deep down the field, and Bethel has just got to do a better job there in the deep secondary. They know what's coming. That's the only way Federal Way can get that first down.
Again, the Braves have got to be flummoxed here. 2 solid stops, 3rd and long, and a 3rd down conversion of huge proportions for Federal Way. Maybe that's what they had the timeout for. Let's get deep and practice our 3rd and long. Our 3rd down conversions.
Now, and here's a pass swung outside. That's McClatcher, breaks 1 tackle and then is taken down to the 45, and there's a flag down about 10 yards away from the conclusion of the play. And let's check on that penalty. 3.5 minutes to play in the first half here from Art Crate Field. And obviously, for a home game for Bethel, a large contingent of Bethel fans. And well, that penalty is going to go against Federal Way, so that is going to take that gain away as they move the ball back, or at least they will in a moment. And a nice group of Federal Way fans near us here on the behind the Federal Way sideline have come out tonight, although we've not noticed much noise from them despite the fact that their team is ahead 26-0. Meanwhile, Bethel, you can hear them all the way from over here. That student section, very loud.
It's pretty cool to be across the way where you can hear the spirit of the hometown crowd. And it will be a mark off against the Eagles. A rare miscue.
Loss of 5 on the play, and that will bring up a 1st and 15. That's nothing to them. 1st and 15. Federal Way continuing to challenge themselves here, and they're living up to the challenge. Elliott back into the shotgun. Spread pistol. You got players spread all over the place, and Elliott takes the snap back to pass over the middle, and he completes it. That is Aaron Persinger, the wideout, a senior who makes the catch up near the 30-yard line, and they're going to mark it down at the 32. A good gain on the play, and a 1st down for Federal Way. So 1st and 15, as we mentioned, it's nothing for them. And a very rare pass there from Elliott where he really waits back in the pocket, fires, and a nice pass, a nice completion to Persinger. Put it where only Persinger could get it.
Straight drop back, strong arm. Persinger with a good catch.
Elliott's going to give the ball here off to Rod Jones Jr., and Rod Jones is met by the big Bethel defensive line and moves the ball up maybe for a gain of half a yard. And we're going to have a 2nd and 9 coming up.
Well, an improvement on the Eagles' run game. The first 2 running plays in this drive were for -6, then -5.
Elliott ready to take the snap. McClatcher in motion. Elliott will give the ball off to McNeil, and Zeke McNeil brings it up for a gain of maybe, again, just a half a yard, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9.
Bit of a wrestling match there, and being in the middle of a play. This is what was a score before in the crossbuck action, and Gonzalez gets in there, wraps them up, and then has to wrestle them down. And they are holding them, but they'll know that it's not 2 downs that does the trick. You got to stop them 3 downs.
Even with the big conversions, Bethel's defense has looked much better on this drive. 2 minutes remaining in the half. A snap back to Elliott. He's going to throw down the field, and McClatcher returns. He was moving off to the right, was able to switch direction to the left, makes the catch, and takes it into the end zone for another Eagles touchdown. This time, Elliott gets his first touchdown pass of the night to go along with a touchdown run, and he gets McClatcher into the end zone. McClatcher's first touchdown of any kind tonight. And the defensive back was in perfect position and just kind of got caught waiting back. McClatcher just snuck right in front of him, picked it off, and he took it into the end zone.
Was it by design, or was it actually a kind of a lame duck throw with McClatcher adjusting well? In the end, it's a post route for a touchdown, collects it, finishes the final 15 yards in a 31-yard strike, and Elliott gets to join Keenan Curran on the touchdown throwing club for the Eagles. Ooh, and a miscue on the snap back. They're going to have to run this one out.
And they're just going to throw the ball up, and they might actually find the man. No, incomplete out of the back of the end zone. And that pass from Delando Tucker looking back for Brandon Warren in the back of the end zone and couldn't complete it. Well, Federal Way 32 and Bethel nothing with 1:52 to play. And again, there were a couple plays there. Those passes from Elliott, who, by the way, made a couple of very good throws on that possession, but Bethel's defense in position, and it looked like McClatcher there, just the athleticism a little too much for the defense, as he was able to change directions at the last moment, come in, grab that pass, and take it into the end zone.
Well, Delando Tucker passed for a 2-point conversion in their game against Emerald Ridge, collected with Brandon Warren. So he knows what he's doing. Pretty good job with the improvisation on a bad snap that went high.
Now we have 5 touchdowns tonight scored by Federal Way, and 4 different players taking them into the end zone. 2 for McNeil, 1 for Elliott, 1 for Morris, and now McClatcher gets his first. Now, if you're Bethel, you have 1:52 to go in this half. You're down 32. How are you going to play this offensively when you come out now?
Well, the run is not going to get you so much when you're under 2 minutes. You're going to have to use it. But we have had real polls showing some pretty good confidence going downfield. So why not see if you can pull off some post routes?
Well, here comes the kick. Jack and Thompson deep to get it. And that ball is going to bounce at about the 30. It's down on the ground, and Jack able to fall on it at the 26. Oh, a couple of good kicks from Craig. And I think really Bethel coming out here, there's no play that gets you 32 points. I think the really important thing, you can't let Federal Way get the ball again in this half.
Right, just keep the drive going. Killer kicks. I mean, Craig has practiced just about every style except for the onside kick, but he's given his team a chance to recover on more than one occasions, and also done what he could to pin the ball back, even though he's not legging it all the way to the end zone.
His team certainly gives him the chance to try all those different kinds of kickoffs.
Another way to look at it, yes. And they're waving off the flag there.
That's not the first time we've seen them do that tonight.
No. So they've got their number one running back right behind their quarterback, who made 2 solid passes for first downs.
And Riopel's going to go into the shotgun here. He's got 4 wide, 2 near, 2 far. And Riopel takes the snap, back to pass. Good time. He's going to throw to Thompson. He threw behind him. Thompson able to make the catch. And now moving the ball up is going to get maybe 3 yards on the play. And they're going to have a 2nd and 7. Well, Riopel had Thompson with a lot of space, but Riopel did not make a good throw on that screen pass.
I'm going to give him 4 yards in that swing pass. Now, remember, that was not their strongest play in the beginning of the game, but they're looking much more confident even in that.
They're going to give him 5 yards. They're going to put up 2nd and 5 on the scoreboard with the ball at the 31-yard line.
And as you said, they love 2nd and 5.
So Riopel with 4 wide again. He's going to give the ball to Thompson. He has space on the right side, moves it past the 40, bowling ahead to the 44-yard line. Good gain on the play. And Thompson picks up the first down. And Riopel and company moving the chains, keeping the ball away from the Federal Way offense.
Now John Thompson, a yeoman, doing the hard running work for the Braves tonight and still finishing the runs right there in front of the bench.
So 1st and 10 from the 43. And Riopel, empty backfield, takes a snap. And he's going to throw the ball incomplete. But here's a flag. And it looked like he was looking for Thompson. And it looked like Thompson was just tackled before he got the football, and that might be a pass interference.
That's what I would be looking for as well, as Thompson had the defender all over his back as if he'd already collected the ball. But again, even if he catches the ball, where's that play going to take you? He made a great job coming from behind to pick up the ball in the swing pass before and turning it upfield, but they've got to do a better job getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers moving up the field.
I think as we go into halftime here, Thompson's going to feel like he's played a full game plus an overtime period. He has been involved on almost every single play for Bethel. Referees discussing here what the call is going to be. And again, it looked like that screen pass was intended for Thompson, who just got taken down before he had a chance to make the catch. One interesting thing we've noticed on the first couple of plays here, barely any pressure from Federal Way. They're backing off on the lines. They're not pressuring Riopel.
Coming into tonight, John Thompson averaging over 8 yards a carry. Comes in with 6 rushing touchdowns. He also has 1 by pass and a punt return, too, in his first 3 games with the Braves, who come in tonight with just that loss to a highly respected Curtis team, a team that was on air last night, pounded out a win against Puyallup, and it's going to be interesting when Federal Way faces down Curtis. We can talk more about that later in the broadcast.
So a penalty brings the ball into Federal Way territory. 47-yard line for Bethel and a 1st and 10 with 1:25 to play in the half.
So another opportunity Federal Way gives to Bethel. Can they convert this and take advantage?
So Riopel under center, 3 wide to his left, 1 to his right. In the backfield, Thompson. A play action fake. Riopel going down the field, and he throws high for his wide receiver, Ryan Smolko, the senior. And Smolko, he's also the kicker. We've seen him once out there to punt, but we talk about Craig, the kicker for Federal Way. We've mentioned his name quite a few times tonight. Smolko, as far as his kicking is concerned, we haven't seen what he's able to do. Another thing Bethel has to keep in mind is that Federal Way gets the ball to start the second half.
Trips left now for Riopel.
With Thompson in the backfield, Riopel back to pass. He has pressure, gives it off. That's Thompson on the right side with some space. Gets it up to the 41-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play. And that will make it a 3rd and 4. Clock running, just over a minute to play, with Federal Way leading 32-0. By the way, Bethel with 2 timeouts. Federal Way also has 2. Same formation. Trips to his left, 1 wide receiver to the right. Thompson in the backfield. They give it to Thompson. He looks for room on the right side, and he's going to run straight out of bounds. Did get a gain on that 3rd down play, but I don't know if he got the 1st down.
Well, he went out of bounds, and that's a good thing to stop the clock, but you got to pick up that 1st down if you can.
Let's see where they spot him. They're going to say it's 4th down. 4th and 1. So very manageable for Bethel here on a 4th and 1, but critical that they pick up this 4th down, or pick up the 1st down, not to give the ball back to Federal Way. Riopel under center, and he's going to hand it off to Thompson. Moves up the middle, finds a small hole, and he's able to get there for a 1st down. And some noise coming from, well, that's the Federal Way cheerleaders, but that's a 1st and 10 for Bethel. Good conversion.
So I was wondering if they were cheering the 1st down.
Clock running here. Riopel looking at the sideline, taking some time. He's going to back up into the shotgun. Remember, they do have 2 timeouts. Riopel is going to throw. He gets the snap. No pressure at all. And now he gets some pressure as he throws to the right side, and he's taken down after the pass by David Tiumalu.
Well, with just under 24 seconds, Jason, you've got to get further down the field. I'm not sure how good the kicker is here, but get yourself in position to take advantage of that timeout. So now try to see if you can run a post route, just to single up somebody. You know, looking over here on the left-hand side, Bryce Bowers may be an option. They haven't really gone to him yet.
Well, they have the 2 timeouts left, and they took a lot of time to get that play off. There's movement on the lines, and flags are thrown. And this might be going on Federal Way.
I think so, as you see the referee coming in from the near side, pointing in that direction. No replacement officials here. A nice job by the crew tonight. Referee Clarence Legang kind of leading things up with Derek Haberholtz, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Eds, and Aaron Lilly rounding out the crew.
No replacement officials. I had mentioned to you before the game. I wonder which NFL game this crew's going to be working come Sunday.
Well, the NFL would do well to have them run the game as well as they have here tonight.
2nd and 5. There's going to be a pass. Ooh, and that's going to fall incomplete. Coming in, bringing the hit was J.J. McNeil. The pass was intended for number 81, Bryce Bowers. And Bowers took a big lick. And again, Riopel, the accuracy was not there on that throw. He kind of left Bowers in a precarious position.
And again, he's coming back for the ball in that tight coverage instead of finding a way to get him downfield one-on-one. And I'm not sure that's going to be very successful for him. I know the coaching staff wants to mix things up, but they need to go down the field.
3rd and 5, 17.4 seconds left. Riopel takes the snap, and he's going to give the ball off. That's a run from Colton Allen, and they're going to stop the clock with a timeout here. And that didn't get them much at all.
Well, they weren't trying to center it up for their kickers. They must be confident from the right hash mark.
Well, I don't know if they're looking at a pretty deep field goal if they want to kick it from here. And again, we haven't seen what Smolko can do.
47-yard attempt in your school book records. I don't know, 47 yards.
Last night I saw a 35-yard field goal in a freshman team game down in Oregon, which is always impressive from a 9th grader. 35 yards. Owen Hatch, the kicker in that one. Give him a little shout out. That was an impressive kick, but certainly Smolko, we'll see what he can do if they do decide to go with a kick. Smolko, a senior, 6'1", and
well, he's kicked 2 24-yard field goals in so far this season, but they're asking for him to double
that.
That's asking a bit much.
Double down.
See where the flags appear to be pretty still. There's no wind going one way or the other.
So 4th and 5, and they're not going to kick. They're going for it.
Thompson in the backfield.
Not a big surprise.
No.
I guess what Bethel can hope here is either you get it down the field and put it in the end zone, they still have one timeout left, or you get in position for a first down and it may be a field goal. Riopel looking at his sideline. 11.6 seconds remain. Federal Way up 32-0. Riopel takes the snap, backs up, 3-step drop, throws over the middle. It's complete. That's Hordike, and he's taken down inside the 20. Clock stops with 6 seconds to play as they take their final timeout.
Well, that's well within range for the kicker, but in this case, they're going to just go for it.
Well, at this point, it's 32-0. What does 3 points at the end of the first half really get you here?
Right.
We do have an injury on the field. A player is down, and
so the Braves will huddle up here. You've got 6 seconds. I'm saying you got one, possibly a second play. Are you going to throw it into the end zone or try to go underneath and let your receiver get the touchdown for you or maybe get out of bounds?
With 6 seconds, if you complete the pass, it's going to be, unless you complete it into the end zone, it's going to be very hard to take on or to get off a second play. And again, there's an injured Federal Way player here. We haven't been able to catch a number and see who that is. Federal Way players kneeling down to his left. Trainer and the head coach, John Marr, out on the field, checking him out. And Bethel, meanwhile, strategizing near their sideline, trying to decide what they're going to go with here. 1st and 10 from the 17 with 6 seconds left in the first half.
Might be a good time while we're taking this time out for the injury to talk about some of the adversity Federal Way has faced this year. Over the years, really, they've lost to death coaches, parents, and of course, most recently, Tapai, their outstanding freshman athlete, but also student, well loved in the community. They honored them in that first game down there in Rogers. And the coach is understanding how important it is for the kids to have a normalized atmosphere. And even the young man whose father passed away said, Coach, just do me a favor and keep it normal. Played in the next game he was able to do. He played well. And really, I think the kids are thankful to have football to focus their efforts to along with school. It's a huge opportunity for these young guys to grow up. And not just on the football field, but in their lives. And it's cool to talk to both these coaches because they are at heart teachers as well as football coaches. And really for these young men to work with them, that's a really welcome thing and really a blessing for them as well.
Well, John Marr, the head coach, who we spoke with before the game, played a year at Western Washington, and he's a Northwest guy. He's been with this program for 18 years, 16 as the head coach. And you mentioned how important it is to keep things the same for them and how football is an escape. Football is a great way for them to honor those who have passed away as well. You know, it's inspiring for them. They play for them, and it's tough, but that's something they can rally around. And they're a great program, and certainly those are big bumps in the road, but they have really pulled things together, and they're playing with a purpose.
Neat thing, too, is we're down in the neck of the woods where Pacific Lutheran University hangs its hat. And the Hall of Fame coach, Frosty Westerly, well beloved throughout Washington, playing for Western Washington University. We asked Coach Marr if he played as the Viking against PLU, and he said, yes, he did. There was some good close games, and then they also spanked our Fanny a couple times, too.
But he never beat them.
But the good thing is he came out of that whole relationship with his wife, who graduated from Pacific Lutheran.
The injured player looks like Albert Havili. It's either a 53 or a 33. I think it's 53. That's him. Albert Havili, the senior outside linebacker, and he's a big, big piece of this defensive puzzle for Federal Way. So now we are going to see Bethel attempt a field goal.
Ryan Smolko.
Smolko out there, the senior kicker, and ball spotted on the 17, so a 34-yard field goal.
Looks the spot of it will be the 24-yard line, so you had 10. It should be, 34 yards.
And here it is. It's up, a line drive kick, and it is wide to the right. No good.
Well, they give themselves a chance to put 3 on the board, and it came pretty close.
And they leave 1.8 seconds on the clock, and I'd be surprised if we saw Federal Way really try to put more points on the board here in the first half, but you never know. And if there's any offense that can score in a second and 0.8 of a second, it's this Eagles offense.
There you go. Well said, Jason. This is a quick strike offense. Barely a chance to set up in the red zone, as you'd mentioned.
We want to let you know that we're going to be stepping aside for halftime, a little break here from Art Cratefield. It's been great to have you with us so far. And we'll be back with you after the 15-minute halftime period with the second half. And they're just going to take a knee. Elliott downs it, and that ends the first half with the Eagles up 32-0. So if you're just joining us, they made it 20-0 in the first quarter. A 15-yard run for the quarterback, Elliott, then a 47-yard run for McNeil. And Elliott had an interception, or excuse me, that was an interception. McNeil picked it off, and then a 28-yard touchdown pass from Curran to Morris. And in the second quarter, McNeil took it in from 16 yards, and Elliott had his first touchdown pass, a 31-yarder to McClatcher. So Federal Way, those athletes we heard so much about before the game have really come through here. And Federal Way, this offense, very explosive. Bethel has not been able to figure it out, although we have seen a couple of nice drives, although they still have a 0 on the board. So it's 32-0 Federal Way over the home team, the Bethel Braves, here from Art Cratefield in Spanaway. And we will step aside for the halftime festivities here in Spanaway with the score. Federal Way 32, Braves nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. Welcome back. You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football live from Spanaway, Washington. I'm Jason Schwartz with Tom Smeet. And at the half, the Federal Way Eagles lead the Bethel Braves 32-0. And they both get ready for the start of second half action. And in the first half, you can see the score. It's not easy. It's really easy to tell. All Federal Way at the end of one half here. Federal Way putting up 20 points on Bethel in the first quarter. Bethel actually played better in the second quarter. I think they did some things in that second quarter that they can take with them into this second half.
Yeah, coming down the field a couple of times. They started pretty strong, with a turnover hurt them in the first quarter, and Federal Way just made them pay. But you're right, they got some momentum. The passing game seemed to pick up. John Thompson is a beast. He is their leader, an emotional leader, and he has given himself on every play. And as you pointed out, literally every play he's had a play to make.
And at this point, with your Bethel coming out here, there are certain things that you need to accomplish in the second half. One of those things that might not necessarily be coming back to win this game, but there are definitely things to be learned from this experience and things that Bethel needs to improve on in the second half. I think that's probably what they're going to focus on.
Well, their longest pass plays for 23 yards, and they had more success in the second quarter. It just seemed like they haven't gone back to it, especially trying to verticalize Federal Way if they can. They really do favor the swing passes, which for a quarterback is the toughest pass to execute. And we saw Thompson save Riopel on that one a couple times. But look at the running game. That is their strength. 19 rushes in the half, 76 yards. Not an indecent showing by Thompson. We see the line can get off their blocks a couple of times. But how about Federal Way? 103 yards in the first quarter. And they wavered a little bit, but they began the second quarter runs of 13, 12. They scored on a 16-yard blast. And then they came back and went -6, -5, and had to get a couple of yards to blank even. But they still finished with 16 runs, 151 yards. And that's unofficial, of course. But pretty good execution of the passing, too, with Elliott connecting on 6 of 8 for 97 yards. And don't forget, Kieran Curran with that first touchdown pass. So each of the throwers have a touchdown to their credit. And Federal Way looks like a team with a lot of tools, a lot of balance, and they're using and trying everything because they're preparing for the full season.
Well, one of the very interesting things to note about that first half, and we mentioned Thompson getting all those carries, touching the ball on almost every play, exactly the opposite on the other side. And we saw just the Federal Way offense, they just spread it to almost everybody they have possible on that offense. Touched the ball, 5 touchdowns, 4 different players, a couple different players throwing for touchdowns. It's really incredible to watch all the different pieces that Federal Way is able to utilize.
Well, they're very nearly doubling up the hometown hosts here. The Braves, the 133 yards all told from the line of scrimmage, 248. I will say they've done a pretty good job in the kicking game, Jason. We saw good decision-making for the most part. One time the ball bounces over the head, you can't really fault them. That's one of those oddball kicks, and Mr. Craig has done a good job in the kicking game. We have 2 good kickers. We haven't really had a chance to see Smolko. He tried that 37-yard attempt. A fair effort on his part. Unfortunately, they did not get the goose egg off the scoreboard. And when you look at penalties, Federal Way still, as the coach would tell us after every game, lots of things to work on. 55 yards unofficially, some 45 yards for Bethel Braves. And they're the ones who've hurt themselves the most, just killing drives. On the other hand, Federal Way twice had 3rd and long and twice converted. And so their 3rd down conversion ratio is very high. So really, we look at the second half. What can the Braves do to come out of the locker room and build, give themselves a foundation to build going into other games? For Federal Way, we begin to think, what's it going to be like when they face up against a Curtis team that themselves are balanced? They're a power-running team. They're a grind-them-out team. And if Bethel had any kind of an ability to grind it out here, that would be the foothold in the game that they're looking for.
And you mentioned the execution, and head coach Maher mentioned this before the game. The execution for Federal Way, not necessarily there.
No.
And they don't look like a team that really executes and plays a smooth game offensively. They're a team that gives playmakers the ball, and the playmakers make the plays. And that's how they've built a 32-0 lead. So, like you mentioned, if they go up against a Curtis or some of the teams that might be able to match that athleticism, what happens then? They definitely need to smooth things up. But that's not the case here tonight, and it will be Federal Way to start with the football here in this second half. as for the first time tonight, we see the Bethel Braves get ready to kick it away. Bethel in the maroon uniforms with the silver helmets, and Federal Way in the white uniforms, blue helmets, and the blue pants. 32-0 Federal Way Eagles in week 4 of high school football here in the state of Washington. The SPSL-South. A couple of teams going up against each other here, Bethel and Federal Way, and we are underway. And there's a little squib kick, an onside kick to start things off, and well, Federal Way is going to come up with the ball, so Bethel taking a risk trying to get the ball and get some momentum to start the half.
And the Eagles were prepared for that. Right up there to gobble it up is number 5, Zeke McNeil. What's he doing up there on the blocking line? They were anticipating that all the way. And we talked about the tough bounce on deep on the kickoff to Bethel. Well, the ball didn't bounce their way on this one either.
So here comes the Federal Way offense, and it looks like they will have Keenan Curran to start, leading the way at the quarterback position. Curran only played a couple of snaps at quarterback, but a couple of very good plays. He ran for a big gain, and then he tossed a nice touchdown strike, a 28-yard pass to Marcel Morris. First play, and he is going to take it himself, moving into Bethel territory. Flag back in the backfield, but Curran takes the ball up close to the 40-yard line, and a good gain there.
Hats off to our production crew, Nathaniel Jackson leading the way here, getting a running start. And we want to thank you for tuning in here, and we want to thank the crew. So I think what that was is everybody got started just a bit early, the center a little bit late.
So flag on the play, and that's going to bring the play back. Bethel catches a break here at the start of this third quarter. 12 minutes a quarter here. 11:52 showing on the clock as Bethel looks to keep this one somewhat close. They don't want Federal Way to put up any more points, already up 32-0, but it's a tough way to go. Bethel, though, a team, and we mentioned this earlier, they're a team used to putting up a tremendous amount of points. As Federal Way starts with the ball, Curran takes it himself again out of the quarterback position, spins away from a tackle, moving up past the 50 into Bethel territory. Another fine play by Curran on a good run, and a great spin move to avoid that first tackle.
Well, Curran doing a great job coming out of the blocks. Has to elude tacklers in his own backfield at the line of scrimmage at the 5-yard mark, and gains another 3 yards for a net of 8.
So 2nd and 7 from the Bethel 49-yard line, and Curran still out there. Curran with 3 wide out to the right and 1 to the left, and teammate in the backfield with him, Rod Jones Jr. He takes the snap, moves to his left, looking to run, and he gets hit in the backfield, but he stays on his feet, and he's going to get positive yardage on the play, a gain of 4, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 3 from the 45-yard line.
To quote the legend from the sidelines of the Green Bay Packers, grab, grab, grab. All they have is grab. And the running back, the Kieran, had to go through several Bethel tacklers, none of whom wrapped him up until he got another 4 yards.
So they're bringing in J.J. McNeil to join Curran in the backfield, along with Eric Afua. 3rd and 4. So from the 46-yard line, Curran leading the offense, takes the snap. He will fake a handoff, rolls to his right, looks to pass. Now he's hit in the backfield. He gets the pass away, and it is complete to Delando Tucker. Tucker still on his feet. He spins around a tackle and moves it up to the 22. Flag on the play late, and there's a player down, number 15, John Thompson. And Thompson down, and Bethel cannot afford to lose Thompson. Thompson, though, coming to his feet under his own power. Now down to one knee. And Thompson shaken up on the play, but no one coming out to join him. No trainer checking him out. And he's going to walk off of the field on his own.
Another shift penalty against Federal Way, so that'll negate a 24-yard pass play that was very successful, and it's exciting to see the ball in the hands of Delando Tucker. You sure know what to do with the ball once he gets it.
Oh, it's exciting to see the ball in the hands of Keenan Curran. You never know what you're going to get with him getting the snap.
You think he watches Cam Newton every Sunday?
I was just going to say that it's Cam Newton that you see when you see him out there and the way he's able to move around in the pocket and that athleticism. Just going to say, reminds me of Cam Newton. That's, of course, the compliment of all compliments for Curran.
Well, they're going to mark off 5, so you're going to negate 5 yards of that 24-yard reception and set the ball back on the 37.
So it's at the 37. Clock, or the down says 1st and 10. That can't be right. Curran takes the snap. He will hand it off and giving it to J.J. McNeil, who is wrapped up just off to the left as he takes the ball to the 40-yard line.
And they will lose 5. Remember, we saw that before where they lost 6 and 5, a team that averages at least their top running backs 15, 17 yards a carry. Yeah, and I think what they did in the other play, Jason, is they awarded the 24 yards, but there was a blocking issue, so they took away 10. So they got the first down, started there. Now they're 2nd and deep.
So 2nd and 14, but what we saw in the first half, that's not much for this Federal Way offense. 32-0 they lead. Curran leading the offense. And from the 41, they start things off. In motion goes the wide receiver Persinger. Here's the snap given off to McNeil on the right side. And he's going to be wrapped up by John Concepcion in the backfield. Another loss on the play. Another loss of 4 yards. It's going to be a 3rd and 18 now from the 45.
Well, McNeil going the wrong direction. It reminds me of the first 2 downs late in the second quarter when Bethel was throwing Federal Way deep, but then they gave up the big pass play, one of those huge 3rd and longs that the Eagles did convert.
So 3rd and 19 from the 46-yard line. Let's see what they bring here. Curran gets the snap, backs up, looking to throw, throws it deep down the field, and it is caught. A completion to Delando Tucker as he goes straight to the ground. And that is what we have seen time and time again on these 3rd and long plays. We've seen the quarterbacks pretty much just throw it up there, and the defensive backs of Bethel get caught not seeing the ball.
I don't know how to explain it. I think Curran, again, just like Elliott, it's not the perfect pass. He's off the back heel. But great adjustment by Tucker to come back and collect that ball. And really the defensive backs of Bethel, they're not seeing the ball come out of the hands. They're not seeing the situation well enough to make an adjustment
And
themselves.
what they're doing, unfortunately for Bethel, is they're giving the quarterback a little too much credit because all those throws haven't had enough on them. The wide receivers had to stop and come back, and the defensive backs have just kept going. So now 1st and 10 from the 17. Curran fakes a handoff. He's stuck in the backfield. Eludes one tackler. Fakes out another. Moving up the left side to the 5. He's moving towards the end zone, and he coughs it up just before the goal line. And who got it?
Great reaction to jump on the ball right at the goal line.
Federal Way keeps it.
And an injury as well.
No, it's Bethel ball. Curran coughed it up at the 1.5-yard line, and Bethel comes up with a ball. A big play and a big break. And there is Curran. He faked out not 1, not 2, not 3. I think 5 defenders. Kind of sounds like LeBron James. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
And he gave up the rock before he put it home. And I think that was a broken play, Jason. It looked like he was trying to hand it off, and he circled around. Did a great job improvising, but he forgot to tuck the ball away to get it across the line.
Okay, so now Bethel with the ball on the 1-yard line. And they're going to run the ball up the middle. And a nice gain on the play to give them some breathing room.
Yep. It's good to see Thompson back out on the field. He went off the field due to an injury under his own power, so he shook it off and came out. And now he's still in the end zone, but the linemen are breathing easier.
Well, 2nd and 7 now from the 4. So they get a gain of 3 on that play. Thompson in the backfield. And they will give it to Thompson, and he has a hole on the right side, breaking it to the outside, and he will gain enough yardage, it looks like, for a 1st down.
Yeah, according to the mark the officials coming in from the sideline, it looks like he's across the 12-yard line. And, of course, they started in the 1-foot line, so that should be a 1st down.
We're seeing here on the sideline, by the way, the other quarterback, Evan Elliott, who started a quarterback, warming up for Federal Way. So I would expect Elliott to come back in next time Federal Way has the ball. Here's a snap. Back to pass is Riopel, and he throws it a little bit high for his intended receiver, Ryan Smolko, incomplete, and it'll be 2nd and 10. And boy, the running game working for them on the first 2 plays of that drive. Interesting to see on the first down that they go away from that.
And they went to that slant route, a pretty good opportunity, but you overthrow him. Delando Tucker right on the shirt tails. But Smolko getting him sealed off with a good pass, a possible catch there.
A draw play, handoff to Damian Jack, it looks like. And Jack gets the ball up for a gain. Nice gain on the play of about 5 yards. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and 5. Or 3rd and 10. I guess maybe his knee was down. He kind of crawled forward a little bit. So no gain on the play. 3rd and 10 from the 12-yard line. 3 wide receivers to his left, 1 to his right with Thompson in the backfield. And Riopel will go back, fakes a handoff, throws down the field, and completes the pass. Nice play. Pass complete to Bryce Bowers, the junior. And did they get enough for a first down? It's very close.
And they will give it to him.
So first down, and that was one of the first times we've seen Riopel able to sit in the pocket after that play action fake and make a good throw.
Yep. I like to see him go downfield. Of course, easy to say when your receivers are open and the pass connects.
So Riopel back under center, 4 wide. 2 to his right, 2 to his left. Thompson in the backfield. He's going to throw again, up in the air, down the field, and it's over the intended receiver, Smolko. And that will bring up 2nd and 10.
You can see he's trying to throw to a spot, and again, Smoke does a good job keeping a very talented athlete in Delando Tucker on his back, because if that ball is anywhere near him, unless he's coming back to it like the Federal Way Eagles receivers do, that's an interception. So overthrow, that's a good play in a way to not have the interception, but also try to connect with him and take advantage of the seal that Smoko's given you.
6 minutes, 10 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Riopel under center. Thompson in the backfield, and they're going to pitch it to him. He tries the right side, has some room, and he'll get positive yardage on that play. A gain of 4 to make it a 3rd and 6.
Well, going outside, a good idea. Good job by Thompson turning up. Let's credit Denny Felt. He got a good seal block there and then went to the next level, try to provide a block just in case Thompson breaks free down the alley. And 3rd and 5. Interesting situation for Riopel and the Braves.
Well, they want to keep this offense moving. They were able to get the turnover at the goal line on a current fumble. They're moving the ball up slowly but surely. And there's jumping on the line. And
because the offensive line wasn't set, this should go against the defense because of encroachment. We'll see how the officials saw it, of course. They're going to march the Braves back 5.
They look like they had just gotten set. So that'll make it a 3rd and 10. And for Bethel, 3rd and 10, a lot different than 3rd and 5. I'd argue for Federal Way, it almost seems like 3rd and 10 is easier for them to convert than a 3rd and 5. Well, he's going to go out of the shotgun with Thompson to his left in the backfield. And the snap. Riopel back to pass. Has time. Throws deep down the field for Smolko. And the pass is intercepted. Aaron Persinger with the pick. Moving the ball up the near sideline. He's got room past the 20. Over to the 10. Inside the 10. And the second interception thrown by Riopel is a big one. And there's a flag on the play. But it looks like it came after the interception. So I do not think that Bethel is going to get this ball back. No, they're not. Offense coming off the field.
Well, I don't know. That was such a great play. Riopel had him open. The receiver beaten, but Persinger reaching up, leaping up to catch it, collected in midfield, and a great return.
But I'll tell you what, yet again, we see another deep pass down the field, just not deep enough. And on that play, we see the Federal Way defender make the right play, able to come back and get it, whereas on the other side of the ball, we have seen the defenders run past it and allow the receivers to catch the ball. So the ball's going to be moved back for Federal Way. They're going to start not inside the 10, but outside the 20 at the 23-yard line. 1st and 10 with 5 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And Curran right back out there at quarterback. So even though we saw Elliott throwing, Curran's going to stay in. He takes the first snap, moves to his left, fakes out 2 defenders, eludes 1. Now he's free inside the 10, over to the goal line, and he will be stopped at the 1-yard line. Keenan Curran, He is
Wow.
a junior. He is unstoppable so far in this quarter. His own worst enemy. He was the one who fumbled the ball at the 1. This time he holds on to it.
Well, he gets a chance to just build on the yardage there. A 21-yard run for the Eagle quarterback. And you can say it's a Wildcat, but I've never seen someone who can do a pretty good job throwing the ball as well and picking his way. He shook off tacklers. He stepped through ankle tackles and found his way and tried to lunge over. Good job running by
Just
Kern.
like the last time that he took the ball to the 1. Right there again, there were 2 Bethel defenders in the backfield ready to take him down, and he just split them like it was nothing.
And hey, how about this? A red zone play for the offense for the Eagles.
First one tonight with 4:20 to play. And here is Elliott under center. And Elliott's going to give the ball off. No, he's going to. Who's got it? A touchdown for Federal Way.
Well, now you said the first one tonight in the red zone. We're going to count the 15-yard touchdown
The second
run by
one.
Elliott,
The second one.
but it's on the 1-yard line, so Elliott gets to come in and be the second quarterback scoring from a red zone play.
I don't know that Elliott was the one who took the ball in there. I thought he gave it off.
Okay. But the 6 points are on the board.
38-0, and it looks like Federal Way is going to go for 2 here.
Try to even things out at 40. Still 4:09 to go here in the third quarter, Jason, and Federal Way continues to show dominance.
So I formation of the goal line set. Elliott's got the ball. He's going to take it himself this time on an option, and he goes down near the goal line. I think he lost the football, and Federal Way unable to convert. So are we going to give that touchdown then to Elliott? I could have sworn he handed the ball away and then ended up blocking. There was just such a big scrum there. It was.
Well, we know this. It was a 1-yard touchdown run, and the 2-point conversion failed.
So second time tonight, Federal Way has failed to get points after the touchdown. I don't think that's really going to come back to hurt them tonight. They're up 38-0.
And Kobe Craig coming in tonight was 10 for 11 on point after attempts. He adds 2 more, so now he's 12 of 15. But with Federal Way trying to convert for the 2 points, Bethel has these little minor victories to point to.
So 38-0. It takes Federal Way a whole 7 minutes and 52 seconds to score here in the second half. And now they will kick it away to Bethel with Thompson not on the field to take the kickoff. Jack is deep, and with him back there is Brandon Glick. First time we've called Glick's name tonight, a sophomore receiver. So it's Jack and Glick.
And Kobe Craig getting ready to kick off, and it's been an adventure every time he's kicked off after the plethora of Eagles touchdowns. What are we going to see from the kicker tonight? It's a defensive play, but it's an offensive weapon.
Craig kicks it, another little pooch kick, and this will be caught, and I think fair caught. Didn't he call for a fair catch there? He's still taken down.
Catch. I don't see a flag, though, Jason.
That is very surprising that there would not be a flag there, but a fair catch called for by Tyler Hordike.
And let's give him credit, because remember, a similar kick in the second quarter, and he kind of backed away like it was a punt. This time he got the information from the coach, waved the fair catch, and I think he's probably wondering why the officials didn't throw a yellow hanky there.
So Bethel will start with the ball at the 31-yard line. And Bethel now still not on the board, down 38-0. And Riopel throws down to the right side, incomplete. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10. He was looking for Hordike down on that sideline. So Riopel leading the offense back out there. 2nd and 10 from the 31. He's got Thompson in the backfield. And here's the snap, and a flag will whistle this play dead.
It looked like number 3, Daniel Gonzalez, got off the line awfully quickly. Though let's see if it's a bad start by the Braves.
Officials talking about it, and it's going to be a false start on Bethel. That's going to move them back 5 yards, and that will bring up a 2nd and 15 from the 26. What? No. Yep, the 26-yard line. There it is. 2nd and 15. Exactly 4 minutes show on the clock here in this third quarter. 38-0 Federal Way on their way to a 4-0 start this season. Is Riopel under center. He's going to drop back, a quick drop back. Now he throws up, and it's caught but out of bounds by number 81, Bryce Bowers, the junior receiver. So that's an incomplete pass, 3rd and 15. And this is not the spot for Bethel, 3rd and 15. Not a play they've had much success on here so far tonight.
Well, he's trying to throw fade routes, and their success have been in the post routes, getting that inside angle. Well, this time, Bryce Bowers did run for the sidelines.
So here we go. Riopel takes a snap back. Hit as he throws deep for Hordijk, and it is overthrown just by a yard or two. And Bethel now with a 4th and 15, and they've got a punt, no question.
Well, that's the toughest 3 and outs you can have, Jason. You want to burn the clock, and only 26 ticks since Bethel started this short drive. So 3 and out of the worst kind.
So now Smolko will punt the football, and there are 2 Federal Way players back to get it, Morris and Tucker. It will be Morris. He backs up, though. Will field it on a hop. He's at the 40. Coming down, and he will be taken down after maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on the play. Taken down by Skylar Witt. And Skylar Witt maybe a little bit shaken up after the play, trying to walk it off, but he takes him down. So Federal Way will start this possession from the 42-yard line.
2 talented receivers back there on the punt. Morris and Tucker. Delando Tucker finally taking it on the bounce, gets 4 yards on the return, securing the ball. I won't say that they can do nothing wrong, but Federal Way showing that they have a lot of things they can do right.
And Curran's back out on the field, takes a snap, moves to his left. Now he's going to run with it. He has room across the 50 to the 46 before he's hit. Big hit, too, coming from number 21. That's Ryan Solias, and 1st and 10 now from the 41-yard line, or 46-yard line, excuse me.
17-yard run, and all it takes is a little lateral movement, and Curran is off to the races. And his vertical speed, I mean, you love to see a runner get up the field, and boy, Keenan Curran showing great ability to do that here for Federal Way this evening.
Curran and the offense back out there. Curran checking his team now. From the pistol, he will hand it off. That's Marcel. No, that's not. That's number 44, Eric Afua, who takes the ball forward. A gain on the play of about 4 yards, and it'll be a 2nd and 6 from the 42.
And Skylar Witt absorbing the first hit, trying to hold on, and Afua just runs over him. And it took 3 other Braves to pull him down after that 4-yard gain.
I just love the way you see this Federal Way offense. All the players have those wristbands with the plays on them. They all look and check at the sideline. Here's Curran taking the snap, moving to his left, and he's got a 1st down easy and room past the 25 to the 20. 1 man to beat, and he's gone into the end zone for a touchdown. 45-0, or 44, excuse me, Federal Way.
Yowza, yowza, yowza. And there's someone who can do no wrong. Keenan Curran, scooting, scatting, running, and scoring.
So a 42-yard touchdown run for Curran. He now has 1 touchdown running, 1 touchdown passing. Could have had another touchdown running if he hadn't fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line. You think Curran's going to play at the next level?
Oh, boy, it's awfully early to say that. The junior, no doubt. having a beginning opportunity to take this footage and show it off. And we're going to have Craig trying to tack on a PAT to get to an uneven 45.
More of a rhetorical question there. I think there's no doubt when you look at the skill set he's got, that kick is up and it is good and make it 45-0.
You know, they sign him at the college ages before they reach the age of 10. Why isn't he signed and committed already?
Well, he may be. Who knows? He's looking impressive. And the interesting thing about Curran is the fact that when we were going over the two teams before the game and talking with the head coaches, well, the names we heard, Zeke McNeil, we heard about McClatcher, Mike Tate, Marcel Morris. But Curran, were they keeping something from us? Because I don't know that I expected to see that kind of play from him. As far as the athleticism goes, he almost...
Bear in mind, some of his passes were flicks of the wrist or off the back foot, still caught. And his running ability, I mean, he's run through players, run out of tackles, made good choices. Yeah, a lot of weapons here. And they didn't warn us about Keaton Curran.
So 45-0. And back to receive the kickoff again, Damian Jack and Brandon Glick.
Curran comes in having scored a touchdown in the game against Rogers. The fourth score for the Eagles, passing 30 yards to Mike Tate. There's a theme of big plays building in this club. And the question becomes, can they execute on a regular basis, not hurt themselves, as we've seen them do even here tonight? You can make one great play out of three, that's okay, but let's not make terrible plays. And when you go up against a Curtis and another, can a third-ranked Federal Way perform? And, of course, that's what they're coaching for. Get them prepared.
Craig kicks the ball deep this time. It will be Glick to take it from near the 10. He moves up the field, has some space, but he's going to get hit and taken down inside the 20-yard line.
Brandon Glick, the sophomore, trying to go laterally there to find some opening. I got some news from you with the pursuit of Federal Way. Lateral movement like Curran does. It's got to be quick and then get upfield. But he does get it to the 20-yard line, and he holds on to the ball. So now in this drive, Bethel's got to try to build plays, and we've said that all night, haven't we, where they have actually done a good job executing from time to time.
And does the clock usually run after a kick return?
When you've got the big advantage of 45 points, yes, it does in the second half. It's the mercy rule, folks, at play.
So Bethel now will hand it off to John Thompson. Thompson looking for room on the right side. He has some, and he will bring it up past the 20-yard line near the 25 before he's pushed out of bounds. And
Cyrus Stewart sprinting to get out of bounds before the snap by Bethel. I don't think he made it, but there was no flag. So this play will count, and they'll give 2 yards to the run game of the Braves.
Second and 8. Looked like he got more than that, but really he was just running laterally rather than moving it up the field. Out of the shotgun, Riopel takes a snap, gives it off. Thompson on a pass, and an incomplete pass. Thompson never controlled it. The pass was right there for him. I don't think he would have gotten much. There were defenders there to take him down, but he drops the ball, and now it's a 3rd and 8.
Although we've seen him collect some awkward passes and get some yardage, but he started looking downfield a little bit too early. You got to secure the ball, tuck it away, and then make your moves. And they're going to confer in terms of what they saw on that play.
Well, it didn't look, at least from up here, that Thompson ever had control of the ball. He needs to have control. He needs to take a couple of steps before.
And the conference is about the sideline for Federal Way, who are understandably getting excited. A lot of players saying now is the time when Coach goes a little deeper on the depth chart and gives me a chance to play.
And they want to get as close to the field as they can, so when the coach looks back, he says, all right, that's the first guy I see. Head in there.
And the criteria in receiving a pass is secure the ball and then make a football move. It could be 1 or 2 steps, and I don't think throwing it forward out of bounds is considered a football move so quickly for Thompson.
The whistle will blow, and do we have a timeout called here? It's 3rd and 8. Bethel with the ball at the 21. Referees will talk again, and now we're ready to go. That was a referee stoppage at the clock, and the clock will start again. Just 15 seconds left in the 3rd quarter because the clock's been running. Riopel back. He'll hand it off on a draw play to Thompson. Changes directions. He has room. Past the 40. Look at that speed. Finally taken down at the 45-yard line. And the third quarter will end. But a great run from Thompson. That's the best we've seen tonight. And what an incredible shift for Thompson there on the direction change. That was certainly impressive. So we are done with 3 quarters. We'll step aside very briefly here on PlayOnSports.com. Federal Way 45, Bethel nothing. You're watching Friday Night Football. Welcome back to Art Crate Field in Spanaway. With Tom Smith, I'm Jason Schwartz. Federal Way has built a 45-0 lead. But right now, Bethel, after John Thompson's best run of the game with the ball from the 45, and Riopel will fake a handoff. He rolls out. He's going to run it himself. And look at the hit that he just gave the defender there as he gets it up for a gain of 4 on the play to bring up a 2nd and 6. First time tonight we have seen Riopel take it himself, and we were able to catch who he lowered the shoulder on. That was a nice hit from Riopel, the quarterback.
Great way to start this 4th and final period.
Clock's going to continue to run. Riopel under center with 2 men behind him. Thompson, not one of them. And there's a handoff. That's going to go to number 32, Colton Allen. Allen up past the 50 to the 46-yard line. Nice gain on that play for Bethel. They're moving the ball well here. And that is a gain to the 45, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 1. Very close to a first down, but not quite there. And now what are they going to say? I think they want the chains.
And they will.
Or they're just going to move the chains. They don't want the chains. That's a first down, 1st and 10 for Bethel. So Riopel back under center. Connor Riopel. He will give the ball off. A handoff that goes straight up the middle. And that was to Daniel Gonzalez, who's listed as a tight end. The big kid, senior, 6'3", 250.
That's equivalent to giving it to your fullback. It had every look to it, too, just leaning forward 3 yards in a cloud of, well, field turf dust.
2nd and 7 now. Riopel will fake a handoff, back to throw. He's going to throw deep down the field. He's looking for, and does not get it to Bowers. Right out of his reach. His outstretched arms just got it off the fingertips. Incomplete. 3rd and 7. We've seen a couple deep passes thrown by Riopel. Either they've been underthrown or overthrown.
That's exactly right. They've had a couple of open plays down the field. Just couldn't connect so far.
It's 3rd and 7. 3 wide to the right, 1 to the left. They give it to John Thompson. He makes a nice move up the field, and he is going to get enough yardage for the first down, a gain of 8 to the 34. It was 3rd and 7. John Thompson, 2 in a row for him. Very good runs.
Well, they convert in 3rd down here. They're 2 for 2 in 3rd down conversions this half. Boy, Thompson's also a lot of fun to watch.
So here's Riopel now from the 34 on a 1st and 10. He's back to pass. Quick drop. He's going to throw the ball up for Bowers. And Bowers with good defense. No flag thrown. Good defense there.
Unbelievable. It sure looked like the defender had no idea for the ball. and obstructing the face at the very least of Bowers, and Bowers trying to get back to the ball, making a play. I can't understand why that wouldn't be interference.
That was Trayshawn Narrett, and I'll tell you why I don't think it was interference, because, again, the ball was underthrown. Bowers had to come back. Narrett doesn't have to give him that room to come back. He covered it perfectly. Now here's a whistle just before the snap comes off. And what do we got here? Flag maybe on the far side. And that's going to be a penalty. I didn't see what the call was, but a penalty looks like encroachment on Federal Way. So a 5-yard penalty will move the ball up for
Is that the
Bethel.
first penalty against Federal Way this half?
Very well might be. 2nd and 5 now as Riopel goes back. He's going to throw up in the air again for Bowers, and it is dropped. Bowers thought it might be underthrown. It ended up being in the right spot. Bowers had turned around, then went back. Had Bowers not turned around, he's in great position to make that catch.
Now compare the passes of Elliott or Curran for Federal Way and how their receivers adjusted to the ball. All those were inside against defenders who were deep. For Bethel, the adjustments are always on the outside on the fades, and it's hard for Bowers and the others to make those adjustments.
Riopel will give the ball off to Thompson, who bowls forward and gets hit, taken down inside the 30. It's a gain of 2 on the play, or gain of 3 they'll give him, and it's going to be 4th and 2 from the 26-yard line. They're going for it. They're down 45-0. Of course they're going for it. Riopel with 2 men behind him in I formation will give the ball off to Thompson, and he makes his move and gets up there. Nice gain inside the 20 of first down, and a nice 4th down conversion for Bethel. And if nothing else, down 45-0, what they're doing here is they are not letting Federal Way touch the ball. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to run all the time off the clock, but that's a nice part of this drive. And they're looking to get on the board here inside the red zone.
Good running by John Thompson. You can see why he's the leader of the team. Takes the ball, runs vertically. Just very slight lateral moves.
Here's a shotgun formation. Snap to Riopel. He throws into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Noah Bales making the catch. Bales, first time we've called his name, a sophomore scoring the touchdown. And Bethel on the board. It is 45-6. Clock continuing to run with 6:05 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, finally, it's Bethel on the board.
Perfect.
And deep pass, and it was a fade route collected. And Bales, a sophomore, brings it in.
Perfect throw from Riopel, and the sophomore Bales had 2 men on him, and he was able to elude them, and the throw again placed over the shoulder of Bales in a perfect spot for him to catch it. So now Smolko, for the first time, we see him out there in a extra point formation. There's the snap, the hold, the kick up, and the kick is good. So it is 45-7. Smolko the kick, the hold from Kevin Ward, the backup quarterback, and Bethel on the board for their home fans.
And it's perfect with that PAT as Ryan Smolko remains perfect coming in tonight. He made 7 of the 7 he's attempted, and now he's 8 for 8 on the year, having converted that one tonight. 45-7.
So a 17-yard touchdown pass, Riopel to Bales. 45-7 the score. Clock again is not going to stop here. It's continuing to run. Now down at 4:47. Oh, just as I say it's not going to stop, what happens? It has stopped. 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in this 4th quarter. 45-7 Federal Way.
And as they were prepared to start the second half, Federal Way with the good hands people up top. You can see number 4, Mike Tate, nearest us. On the far side, Marcel Morris. Those are the critical corners. Right down the middle, Rod Jones Jr. He's a big guy. I don't think of him as soft hands, but they have confidence in him. And then Brandon Warren and the receiver, Aaron Persiger, flanking him. So that's the first 5 expecting Smolko, who's looking for a football to kick, put up on the stand.
Where is that football?
Well, last time we saw it, it was going through the uprights at the other end. But I think they got more than that one. Federal Way has taken the air out of the ball. Actually, Bethel took the air out of the ball, controlling it on that drive.
Well, let's take this opportunity as the football goes missing to remind you that PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And even with that, the football still has not appeared.
You figure there might be a football somewhere in the stadium. You are the hometown team.
I have a football in my car. If we want to take a break, I can run and grab that.
Yeah, you want to run and get that, Jason?
I can lend it to them for the rest of the game.
I think the Braves ball boys are just so excited about scoring against the third-ranked Eagles. They started running around with the football. Now they got to track one down.
Lucky they stopped the clock. Had it not stopped, this game would be over by now. Well,
it gives us a chance maybe to open the conversation about players of the game. Obviously, for Bethel, I'm impressed with John Thompson. Smolko hasn't had a chance really to show himself off. Leopold's put the ball in some pretty good places, but you've got to focus on the 45 points on the board, the team leading the ball game, and they have weapons galore, Jason.
And look what they found.
Oh, there's the football.
There's a football. Oh, and that's so tough when you look at a team like Federal Way. Who do you give that most valuable player award to, player of the game award in a game? And they have so many weapons. And Keenan Curran, maybe the obvious choice over the last couple quarters, but for Curran, he's gotten the ball and he doesn't give it off to anybody. So he has the benefit of taking those snaps. Well, we've seen Marcel Morris, very good. We have seen McNeil, very good. And even Elliott has a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. Well, we're ready for the kickoff. Smolko leads the way, sends it off, and he will kick it deep over the head of James Black, and it will go into the end zone, a touchback, and Federal Way will start with the football at the 20-yard line.
We'll go back to Ryan Smolko, passing grade on the opportunity there. If the team could score some more touchdowns and make the Federal Way Eagles start on the 20, I'm not sure would change the entire complexion of the game, but it certainly helps. Taking a look at Federal Way, Curran did score on the pass play to finish the scoring in the opening quarter, connecting with Morris, as you alluded to. Elliott came back to finish the first half with a throw to McClatcher. So, you know, we got some lots of talent in this team, but two good quarterbacks who have really two different styles.
By the way, they put more time on the clock. 5:37 was showing before they started the clock again, so now it's down at 5:05. And here they come, and that is going to be a new quarterback into the game. First time we've seen the quarterback, number 18, Jeremiah Vasquez, and he hands the ball off. It looked like number 42, Eric Hubert. Oh, we're looking at the wrong roster here. And that was number 18, Peter Bastandig, who is a sophomore, and he was the one who lined up at quarterback there.
And number 16, James Black, checks into the backfield. Look for him to get an opportunity to carry the ball.
He's in the backfield along with Trevion Meadows. So here comes the snap to Bastandig. Taking his time, 4:15 on the clock. Bastandig takes the snap, and he will hand the ball off, and it's on the ground, a fumble, and it's going to be Bethel ball. Braves take over. And a nice opportunity for the Bethel Braves to make this score a bit more respectable in their favor.
Well, let's talk about giving Federal Way the grades in every aspect of their game, because here, this is the second turnover. They came in the second half. It's certainly not their first team. We saw them shoot themselves in the foot. But what do you think in terms of the run game, the pass game, the inconsistency, the explosiveness? It's hard to come up with a solid grade, but certainly for excitement, we have to give them an A.
So we're going to get a new quarterback into the game and a new running back here for Bethel, as the quarterback, number 6, Kevin Ward, gives the ball off to Marcus Walter, number 24. A nice gain on the play up inside the 10-yard line. Looked like a gain of 8 on the play. A gain of 7 officially. It's now 2nd and 3. Again, they're going to hand it off to Walter. Walter with some room takes it up past the 5-yard line, a first down. It'll be first and goal for Bethel with 3 minutes remaining. Well, I think Coach Mara really hit it on the head when we spoke to him before the game about the execution. You talk about giving grades. You want to give a grade for athleticism, A+. You want to give a grade for execution and running a smooth offense, and you're talking below a B- in my opinion. Here's a handoff off to Walter, and he takes it up, but he's met by a tough line and is taken down. 2:37 to go now, and second and goal from the 3-yard line. Again, unfortunately, Bethel just doesn't have the athleticism and the athletes to keep up with the speed and movement on this Federal Way offense. But if Federal Way meets somebody who does, they might be in a little bit of trouble.
Bethel with 89 yards running this half, even with that no-gain run.
Here's a pitch to Walter. He's got room, and he's in for a touchdown.
Well, make that 92 yards, and that 3-yard touchdown plunge by number 24, the senior Marcus Walter.
Marcus Walter getting a shot. So what's the score here in the fourth quarter? It is now 13-0 in favor of Bethel in the fourth quarter. 45-13 if you want to include the entire game. I think they usually do that. They don't just count the fourth quarter. So now on for the extra point. Smolko with 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go. They stop the clock. And Smolko trying to go to 2 for 2. Hold is down, kick is up, and it splits the uprights. It's good. 45-14. Walter, the 3-yard touchdown run.
Well, Smolko makes it a respectable double-digit score. 45-14 now for Bethel. So they're finishing strong. They're taking those pieces of building block foundations and putting it together somewhat. Now, granted, they're going against second and third level players, but execution is execution.
Bethel moving the ball on the ground, and that's really what they wanted to do since the very first snap tonight. And really it was what they did, and I think a big blow to this Bethel team was when John Thompson, who again has done so much for this team tonight, but when John Thompson coughed up the football in that first possession, really set the tone for this game. Bethel was hoping to really just zone in on that running game and just pound it out, and I think that really shook them a little bit when you saw that Thompson, their big runner, was able to cough it up early. So 45-14 Federal Way as Bethel comes out ready to kick off here. 2:13 left, down by 31. Do you onside kick here? Maybe just to practice an onside kick.
Practice it. Again, good hands. Eagles up there at the 50-yard line, and the second layer also that caliber of talent.
Bethel did try an onside kick to start the half. It didn't work out for them. Oh, Smolko ready to kick it away, and he does kick it away. And that will go deep, and it is dropped near the 2. Why did he call a fair catch? Why is he downing it at the 2-yard line? Is he in the end zone? That was number 16. Number 16.
He waved
James
his hand
Black.
as if to make a fair catch, but with the fumble, I don't think he wanted to pick it up and run it. He could have gotten himself another 5 to 10 yards.
Well, why is he calling for a fair catch in the first place?
Exactly.
James Black with the first fair catch I've ever seen called for at the 2-yard line. And he kneels the ball down there. So that's where Federal Way will start. Clock running, 1:40 to play. And I think we are going to send our man Tom Smeeth down to the field to grab Keenan Curran for us to chat during the postgame show after the game. Federal Way lining up in their spread pistol with the clock now down to 1:17. Trying to catch a number of who's in there at quarterback. And again, back in there, it's number 18, Peter Bestandig. He gives the ball off for a very short gain. So fourth quarter here, there is a minute remaining. 1 minute left. And we're going to step aside very briefly right when the game ends. We'll come back with a quick post-game show and an interview with Keenan Curran. Clock running now to 47. Bestandig was over to the sideline to get the play. Now he comes back, lets the rest of his team know. One of the very few times we've actually seen Federal Way go out of a huddle. But again, a lot of their second and third stringers are in now, and they don't have those wristbands that include the play. This will probably be the last play of the game. Bestandig will take the snap. He will give the ball off. It's into the hands of number 14, Khalil House, and House takes it up, and that is going to do it, at least we thought, and that's going to be a safety. Tackle made in the end zone, I believe. Yeah, 45-16 now the score. So clock stops, 15.5 seconds left. A safety as we see the Federal Way offense falter there, but again, that's not the offense we've seen all game. So a safety makes the score 45-16 with 15.5 seconds left. Before we go into the post-game show and our post-game festivities on here, we do want to tell you to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, where we will select our player of the game. I might have given that away already, as well as wrap up all the action for this ball game that's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Also want to thank my partner tonight, Tom Smith, as well as our producer, Nathan Jackson, and our cameraman getting all the fine shots tonight outside, Bob Hall. So Federal Way has to kick it now to Bethel after the safety. 45-16 the score. Again, Tom, we can see him down there on the sideline. He's going to be grabbing Keenan Curran as soon as the teams shake hands and everything gets wrapped up here. 45-16, 15 and a half seconds left. And here comes a kickoff. Craig will put it into the air. Line drive kick will fall and bounce, and here comes a return. Taken to the 36-yard line by Jordan Steiner, sophomore tight end. And actually make that Denny Felt who had the ball. So Felt gets taken down, and 8 seconds left. The clock has stopped, and I think time for one final play. The quarterback in on this play will be Kevin Ward. So Federal Way sensing victory, and now the clock runs off, and that will do it. Federal Way the favorite tonight, and they came out and showed why from the very beginning, dominating Bethel. Final score 45-16. Federal Way improves to 4-0. Bethel falls to 2-2, and they are now 1-2 in conference play. 45-16 the final, the team shaking hands. And again, Federal Way, the athleticism that they showed in this game, almost frightening if you're an opposing defender watching this, or I'm sure obviously they'll get the highlights and they'll watch the film coming up. But Federal Way definitely a force to be reckoned with. This offense with athletes that I think we'll see a lot of them at the next level. And we're going to talk with one of them in a moment, Keenan Curran, when we come back for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show here. And we'll be back in a moment. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, and we are now joined up here in the press box by Keenan Curran. Keenan, give you a second to catch your breath. Big game for you guys tonight. 45-16 the final score. It really was 45-0 before the team started bringing in some of the second and third string players. And it's not hard to notice the athletes you guys have on your team, you being one of them, but a lot of your teammates too. How fun is it to play with this group of guys?
Oh, it is tremendously fun. I just got a lot of good players around me, surrounding me. They make my job easy, you know.
Absolutely. And for you, we saw Elliott to start the game at the quarterback position. Then you came in, seemed to play most of the second half, the end of the first half. And talk about the style of play that your offense has when you're out there running the offense.
We're kind of just we try to mimic Oregon a little bit, you know. We can air it out, or we can just run the ball and put it down the throat, you know.
Well, one of the guys that we mentioned watching you play is Cam Newton. Of course, Cam's a guy, quarterback, and he can do so many great things with the ball. But you had a couple of times 2 defenders right on you in the backfield. You were able to get around them. How do you do that?
It's just field vision, a lot of practice, you know, growing up. Just watching older guys and watching NFL guys and just mimicking the style they play.
255 rushing yards for your team. You had a couple of big passes, though. What do you enjoy doing most as a quarterback? Again, we saw a lot of different dimensions from you out there.
You know, they say that I've been called a running quarterback, but I do like to air the ball out because I have a lot of good receivers on my team, and I just like to get the ball into the playmaker's hands.
Well, you had a nice touchdown pass, a 28-yarder. Your teammate Marcel Morris back in the first quarter. For you guys going forward, obviously a 45-16 victory is a great thing to have, but always things to work on. What are some of those things you think for your team going forward?
You know, we haven't played a perfect game, and we just got to execute a little bit more. We've executed well, but, you know, we are trying to get to that perfect game, you know, into the playoffs. We're just trying to build on our talents, you know.
And even if the execution isn't there, though, nice to have that athleticism to make up for it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Keenan. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us, and a great
thank you.
job tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that's Keenan Curran joining us here on the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. And thank you very much, Keenan. He's going to hand off the headset now to Tom Smeeth as we wrap this one up here tonight from Art Crate Field. And Keenan, great to hear from him. Very well-spoken and almost speaking as well here in this interview as he looks out on the field. I mean, that was really something to watch.
Well, the coach wanted them to get on the bus real quick. There was a lot of things. He was disappointed about the team that yielded that safety toward the end. He's ready to fire up the whole team in practice. So he has something to work from, and that's something you actually need. But it's cool to hear him. He's very calm. He's very focused. But he was dancing on the sideline knowing that he had a good game and his team had a good game. And they did execute well, but they're going to learn also there's more things they can improve on. And they're going to need to do that because not every team is going to give them as – I won't say easy a time because Bethel really was struggling themselves to find their game. And you can see they've got something to build with. So from that standpoint, good young kid, good team, and both these teams are going to have room to improve.
Well, you mentioned that head coach Marr found something to get fired up about it. Would he be a football coach if he didn't? I mean, a football coach always wants to come away from the game, not with the positives, but with something that the team needs to work on.
And he wants something a little less obvious and easy than what they gave him. But they're going to have a lot of improvement to make. But we've seen every week to week. Go back to week number 1. They were a much better team, and another 3 weeks down the line, they're going to be better, and they're going to need that.
Bethel, meanwhile, they are a team that they're a good team, and you can't let this score say differently because this team ran into the class of this league, Federal Way. They were picked to finish first in the league, and they look to be well on their way. Bethel, on the other hand, they're now 2-2, 1-2 in conference. But again, we saw John Thompson, a guy who really can lead this team and do some good things. And Riopel, even though he did have a couple of picks, he led the offense well, played a good game.
And he looked good throwing the ball down the field. Those swing passes are tough, but he executed those in the second half better than he did in the first. And you look for that. You look for improvement. Bear in mind that Bethel's a club that's coming off a program that's been building the finesse game, working in the spread offense. And they are not in a position to just automatically turn into the kind of team that's going to power the ball down the field. Now, they got the talent in Thompson. They need to complement that, and they found that in some of their receivers. And I think Riopel will find that rhythm as they find where their game is. Looking ahead, it's Federal Way hosting Puyallup next week. Then they will go to Beamer, which is in the Federal Way, or they share the stadium there. But they're going to face Curtis down the road at the end, Friday, October 26th. That is a game you want to circle on your calendar. But don't forget Auburn. Auburn not having the best year, but that should be awfully entertaining.
That's a late non-conference game. That should be a good one between Auburn and Federal Way. Meanwhile, look at the Bethel schedule, and they've got Emerald Ridge next week. Then
they travel there.
Graham Kapowson.
That's their newfound rival along with Spanaway. And then, of course, then they get to host the final 3 games, Jason, with Rogers, Puyallup, and then they go to actually to Beamer to finish up. So it's a good schedule for them to continue to build.
Well, this is a team, Bethel. You wouldn't be surprised looking at that schedule to see them rack up a few wins as this goes along. This is probably the toughest test they're going to face this year.
They face the 3rd best team, and they've already now faced 2 of them in a row. So they scrambled back here, and they've got enough to build on, as we were saying.
And again, this Bethel team is kind of a young team. They don't have a lot of returners. They have a total of 5 returning players from their 22 starters last year. So for them, again, led by John Thompson, Rhea Pell, the quarterback, again, they just looked out there, think they were a smart team. And, again, they ran into better athletes tonight in Federal Way.
Circle their leaders. Riopol, as you mentioned. Smolko doing things when he was called upon. But it's the big guy, John Thompson. Still leading the way on the ground and in the air as well.
Yeah, nice job and a nice performance from John Thompson. That's going to wrap it up from Art Crate Field, where the Federal Way Eagles defeated the Bethel Braves by the final score of 45-16. We'd like to thank you for joining PlayOnSports.com's coverage of Friday Night Football from Spanaway, Washington. Be sure to check PlayOnSports.com for information and links to all of our upcoming broadcasts. For our producer, Nathan Jackson, our videographer, Bob Hall, and my partner, Tom Smith.
Great to be with you, Jason.
I'm Jason Schwartz saying so long, and we hope you'll join us next Friday night on your destination for high school sports and Friday Night Football, PlayOnSports.com. So long, everybody.